move fast and you do what you want. At this time, doing what I want. Hope you doing what you want. What you want.
Hey yo, Red, my name is Pink. I made him go get that ink. Let him eat it pretty. Now he keep trying to link. I'm pimping Pinky Ring. His ex is a smanky dink. I'm about to pop a thingy, then sip on this drinky drink. Get the grip with my nigga with my tip. I'm a clip like 100 grits. Get back on my lip. I'm a bitch. I want fish and grits. Throwing hissy fit. I'm talking about chicken when I jerk it.
Hey, don't be talking that talk if it don't match up with the stroke. Say it again, Sizzle. Hey, y'all. Hello. Welcome to this Queenie Live. How is everybody doing? I am so happy that you guys are here. Hopefully, we have given you guys enough time to get caught up on the show. It is on Hulu. 8 episodes, and it really didn't even feel like 8. It breezed by so quickly, yet and still it had a whole lot to say. I have some beautiful, wonderful guests backstage, not only streaming on my platform, but theirs as well. So if you can go over, come in, comment, like on every single facet of that, that would be absolutely awesome. Let me know if I sound good, if y'all hear me, and if y'all are ready to get into all things Queenie. Because didn't a lot happen? Because girl, why you on the floor? Why you on the floor? I just want to know why she was on the floor. But be that as it may, I am gonna bring out my my first guest. I think this is my second time having her here on the channel, and I need to most definitely have her on here more. Bringing out the girl with all the hats and all the teams over there because she be making stuff. It's EJ, y'all. Hello, EJ.
What's up, everybody?
Hey. EJ, what did you think about this show?
Well, I thought it was a lot. It was a lot going on. But honestly, I really thought that it was good the way that they actually introduced this, the way that they show us about trauma and how it travels from generation to generation to generation, and then how she overcomes at the end, or seems to get in a better place, rather. I ain't gonna say overcome, but
and I think I can't wait until we get into that, because I think we get so many stories kind of wrapped up in a nice bow. It's like, no, this is an ambiguous type of situation. Everybody is not okay overnight or after one session of therapy. That is absolutely not how life works. So I'm glad that realistic aspect was there. But bringing out my second girl. This is our first time here, y'all. I'm excited. I've been really eager to collaborate with her like ASAP, and I'm so happy that she was able to catch up and get into the show in time, bringing out the girl who is this close to 1,000 subscribers. So get over there and check her out. Monique is here with the beat face. Hello, Monique.
Tara. If only the people knew how long we've been trying to make this happen. Girl, I have to just thank you for including me and inviting me on your platform. It really means a lot. You know how I feel about you. And thank you for bringing good content to me, because I'm going to be honest, I think I saw 1 or 2 advertisements for Queenie.
Yeah.
Or if you didn't reach out to me, I wouldn't have watched it. And I feel like I needed to watch this show.
Yeah.
I needed this, and I'm not gonna drag it out. We'll get into the depth of it, but it was a roller coaster ride of emotions. I laughed, I cried, I reflected, I was triggered, all the above. So can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, most definitely. That's another thing to get into, the lack of advertisement for certain shows. This one is definitely one of the ones that did not get the push that I felt like it deserved for people to see it. I'm sure a lot of people have yet to check it out, but maybe y'all will run across this stream and do that. Go do that.
Mm-hmm.
My OGs in the back, y'all. My OGs are in the back. I'm gonna bring out Ashley with the sweet perspective because I cannot wait. Because you know she be always sweet with everything. Like she always try to add a little sugar on top. You can't add no sugar on this situation. You just can't. This is a sour, salty situation. Coming to the stage, Ashley with my sweet perspective. Hello, Ashley.
Hey, friend. Hey, ladies. And you already know how I felt, Tyra. Listen, I wanted to slap Queenie. I wanted to ride for Queenie. I wanted to choke her out. I wanted to pray for her. I wanted to hold her hand. Like, I love a complex character and a compelling story. And one thing about Candace Carty Williams, she's going to deliver every single time. Like, she's going to deliver.
Child. I love that. It was a whole lot of mixed emotions for Queenie. I'm glad I didn't like Queenie. I did not like Queenie for a extended period of time, and I'm so happy about that because everybody doesn't have to be likable. Everybody doesn't have to be a certain type of Black woman to be portrayed on screen. Because I know we see a lot of. Well, Ashley put me on to a couple of thoughts about this show where it was like they didn't like how Queenie was being portrayed, or they just felt a certain way about it. No, there are lots of women like Queenie, and I think that everybody just from a female perspective would be lying if they didn't say they saw a little bit of themselves somewhere in Queenie. Somewhere. I saw myself a whole lot. It was shame, child, shame. Absolute shame. But I'm bringing my girl up here last because she gotta be last because she got the books and she reading them. Now, if you didn't read this book, Kay, I swear I'm gonna get you some. I don't know what it is. It ain't gonna be much because you know I'm a mother. But I'm gonna get you some. If she has read this book, I swear. Kay, come on to the stage and let me know if you have read Queenie. Okay.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Muted myself. I have not read this book, but I was triggered as a therapist watching the show. I felt like I was working overtime watching the show. It was just so much. And yes, there are a good bit of my caseload is Queenie.
Oh man,
I'm so thankful that we have a therapist on here.
Yeah, licensed, official. It ain't one of those people who got their honorary Instagram degree in therapy. No, she is a real therapist. Let me go get these super stickers real quick before we get started. I love when y'all come out the gate with money. Y'all know we like the money that jingles, but we would rather the money that falls. If you want your comment prioritized, attach it to a super chat and keep it cute and show your girls some love. Thank you so much, Latoya W, for the $5 super sticker. And yet again, another she came through with the 10 with the dudes. What's good? Thank you so much, Latoya. I don't know who channel you came from, but represent. Thank you so much.
You know, that's Sissy. That's the partner of Johnny May Cochran and Associates. Yes.
Latoya is definitely loyal.
Thank you for looking out for my girl. She need all that. Ashley be over there working hard. But y'all, I am not gonna waste any time. When I tell y'all I was trying really hard to get everything in here, it's just I felt like I left so much out because so much happened. But I thought naturally we should start with the author. Miss Candace here, executive producer. She's the showrunner. Candace, if Queenie is about you, it's okay. Just say that, girl. And she also had a cameo in the gallery. Now, I did my homework as much as I could on Miss Candace, and she has a whole lot of similarities. And I mean a lot. If you blink twice, it would have been her. She even physically kind of looks like Queenie. But she has detached herself from the story and said that this is not about her. This is just, a book. From what I saw, I feel like it's about her. And I wish that she would, outwardly say that it is, because it would add a lot of validity to the story for me and make it an even deeper situation. But she said it's not her, and I'm gonna leave it alone. But she did start off, working. She is that Jamaican background. She worked for a publishing company type situation. She got into media. The similarities were just clocking all the way around. And I was like, girl, if you like the white man, it's okay. It's okay. Ashley, I want to come to you because I know you did some homework on Candace too. Am I tripping, or was this not? It's Queenie, not Candace?
Listen, no, when she broke down, even that her mother was Jamaican and Indian and that she was the product of an affair, the dad was married to somebody else, he wasn't in her life. I was like, girl, quit playing. We know this is autobiographical. At least even just say semi. You know what I'm saying? Even if you didn't want to claim the poetry phase and all that, I get it. Like you wanted to keep it cute. I understand. But you could have said semi, like, because that's capsis. We know. We know. We know.
Monique, I'm going to come to you. I don't know if you did any homework at all on Candace, but how, if not so, how did you feel about, because I do like the aspect, a lot of people give the rights over to a network for a show or a movie for their book, and they're really hands off and not involved. She was involved in every single aspect of this show. How do you feel about that?
I love that for her. I did not do research on her. However, I do understand you and Ashley's perspective, pun intended. I think more than one thing could be true. I do think she pulled from her own life. Why she doesn't want to admit that, I don't know. But I mean, I can't tell someone they're lying. That's between them. So, but I will say, I will give her some grace. Maybe she's pulling from other people's life experiences, because one thing that my Jamaican mother, I can't wait to talk about how I can relate to the Jamaican background. But one thing my Jamaican mother always told me is, in life, you don't have to experience and go through everything. Sometimes you can see other people's life and experiences and learn from them. So it could be true that she did take these stories and incidents from maybe her friends or other people that she know. But I do think there was some personal influence sprinkled in.
Close. Kay, what about you? How do you feel about it?
I mean, if Jordan Peele and Stephen King can sprinkle a little of their personality in their writings, I'm sure she did. Just go ahead and say that. It's cool. we see, we see it. So it's not that bad to take from your own experiences.
It's not. It felt closer than just a shared experience, or or these are, because a lot of authors go, these were things, experience I witnessed throughout my life. Like, no, her and Queenie were matching lifestyles to a T. So I was like, all right, girl, if you wanted to distance yourself, you could do a little better. EJ.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with. I didn't do any research on her per se, but I did go straight to Audible to download the book. Won't even lie, because I'm an Audible girl. I can't read the book per se, but I definitely can listen to it. So I went straight and did that, but I didn't do too much research on her. But just based off of what y'all said alone, it does have a lot of overlapping similarities, and I think that people can relate to something better when you tell them, like, hey, this is based off of, even if it's not everything that you went through. We know that sometimes you have to embellish things to make it a story. That's okay. Like, I would appreciate that, and I would be like, okay, that's dope that you actually, are willing to put that out there, because it sounds so authentic when you see the show. For those who have seen it out there, when you see it, that you're pulling from something that's real. It does not feel too made up to me.
That's what I agree. Definitely wasn't made up. Thank you so much, Bree, for the $2, girl. Hey, my black people. Hello. We black and we love it. Thank you. Proud. Thank you. Thank you so much, Bree. Thank you. I hope you got a chance to do this show, Bree. I know you would get a kick out of some of the situations we had to suffer through here. I have never had so much secondhand embarrassment in my life. I had to turn away. Oh, but I'm gonna, just kind of sparse through certain things. You ladies feel, free to add on if you care to. But yeah, Gemini boys, but no Jesus. I was here for the auntie. A secret miscarriage. OBGYNs, a strong black woman. Now I knew we was gonna be in for a little ride because y'all, I'm sure everybody, especially black women, you've had that experience with your OBGYN where you're not really feeling comfortable, or your pain level is a little bit high, just like, oh, you're okay. Like, she just kept pressing. That bothered me and triggered me so much. I was like, it just came on. All right, Queenie. Aside from that, if you guys do want to elaborate on maybe y'all have good experiences, but I have had moments where I've had to, switch up a little bit to find somebody I felt like, was listening to me, or even the moment where she goes, what is your name again? Like, you're just the person coming through. Kay, I'm going to come to you first. How did you feel about Queenie's miscarriage and us pretty much opening up with her keeping it to herself?
That, of course, being in the space that she received this information was not even conducive for her to be able to be comfortable to talk about it. It's just like this personal thing is taking place in front of this crowd of people who really don't know and care about you. So there's that. And then there's her always, never having a place to express herself, or, feel like her opinion values or to be heard. And so, of course, that would make it hard for her to speak up and advocate for herself. She showed a lot of behaviors of like, I can't speak up and take up for myself and say what's on my mind because I don't feel safe.
Monique?
I mean, I've definitely felt for her in this scene. Luckily for me, I've been blessed with great OBGYNs. I've had a lot of struggles in the past with reproductive issues and just a bunch of things in my past. So I've been to the OBGYN quite a bit, specialist, the whole nine. Thankfully, I was blessed with great doctors. However, I've worked in the medical field and I've seen good and bad. So I felt for Queenie during this time. I feel like the delivery was just terrible. It wasn't even delivered to her with any type of sensitivity or compassion. And then as far as her not sharing the news, I don't want to say I can relate. I think I can understand. For me, when I have a partner, I feel like I'm typically in my past, I'm very close with my ex-boyfriends at the time in my relationship. So I definitely don't think I would hide it from him, but I also can understand her because as we've seen displayed, Queenie is someone who suppresses their emotions. And I can relate to that aspect. I used to suppress my emotions quite a bit. That's why I'm so talkative today. But yeah.
AJ?
Yeah. So, as far as the OBGYN experience, I thought that was, I did feel for her because at the end, or somewhere in the middle, she even asked her what her name is. And that is so impersonal to not even know the person that name is that you're giving this news to. And then when she gets out, her aunt tells her, like, we don't talk about this in public. So, and then I think there's another moment somewhere where we hear someone say, that we don't talk about things outside, or and that's so common in our community, or at least the community that I was around. You could not talk about things outside of the home. Like, everything just felt like it always had to be inside, like it was always this big secret. So she didn't even feel comfortable enough to be able to tell her auntie, because her auntie is like, look, we ain't talking about our vajayjays out here, so it was a lot. But yeah, so at the end of the day, though, I think a lot of people can relate to this, though. I'm glad that, Momo, that you've had great experiences with it, because I feel like a lot of people have not. I feel like a lot of people have been at that point where you are going to somebody who completely does not understand anything that you're going through, and they don't listen to you, and they are just trying to get to the next person, and you're just another number. So,
yeah. And don't get me wrong, ladies, I have felt that before. I've definitely experienced that before in the medical field, but just thankfully with my situation, God blessed me with great providers who really cared for me and wanted to see me get past my situation. I suffered from endometriosis for several years and fibroids. So
me too. Both.
I've had
both.
It's actually debilitating. There was a time where I thought I was going to have to step away from college, and it's a hard time. I don't even like to talk about it now. But again, I was very blessed during that time.
Oh, this is heavy. Ashley, I'm so sorry. Ashley.
I know. I'm like in the chat, like, oh my gosh. But no, I actually loved how we addressed the disparities, especially for women of color in these spaces, because not only did she not know her name, right, while she's seeing something troubling on the screen, she then proceeds to bring all of her colleagues in the room. And Queenie's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? And to be ignored in that spot. And I think her just being used to internalizing her pain is really what we got to see in bright lights. Yes, the OBGYN pissed me the hell off, not just with not remembering her name, but also when I don't know if anyone's had a transvaginal ultrasound, but that thing is like freaking long. And for you to be like, oh, you're a strong girl, you can take it. You can take that. Like,
my favorite is loosen up, open up, ease, just relax. I'm relaxed.
Like, who do you think I am? But again, a lot of times in these spaces, they think Black women can take all kinds of pain. Like, you don't feel this the same way a normal woman would. You're stronger than that. You're a strong girl. And I stand Aunt Maggie as well. But I also loved how we touched on that. In Caribbean, African American communities, that is the thing. Ladies, we don't talk about that in public. We don't speak about that in mixed company. Or that's a family private matter. You're strong. You can handle that on your own. There's no need to discuss it. So I think, again, in these opening couple minutes of the first episode, that's when I knew. I was like, oh yeah, we're going to be in for it.
Yeah. Shout out to the 55 people here in this live. Please keep on liking, engaging, commenting, and hitting that like button on all of our platforms. Thank you. King Nikki TV representing with the $20. Somebody got paid today. Hey, thank you so much, Nikki girl. I appreciate it. See, I complained to my OBGYN for years, never listened until I ended up in the ER, literally half dead. I had barely any blood in my body, went through 4 transfusions to get my level normal. Had to get a hysterectomy at 30. Oh, God. Oh. I've had this. Oh Lord, we're gonna go all child. This is slide 1. This is a reason. Thank you so much, Nikki, and thank you for being able to share that. Like, I'm so sorry you had to experience that, but I remember having to fight with because I've always been heavy on the bleeding side, and they just want to run off and give you a hysterectomy. I think I was like 26 years old. I was like, what? I haven't like still might want to get more into children and things like. It's always a rush to hit you with the hysterectomy to solve problems outside of looking at different avenues. Like, oh, Nikki, I'm sorry. Oh, thank you so much for that.
I just want to say for everyone, the panel, the audience, when it comes to your health, you have to be your biggest advocate. You cannot depend on these doctors and physicians to look out for you. God bless the good ones that are out there, but a lot of them are not. A lot of them treat you like you are a number. And I just want all of us, especially in the Black community, because we face so many things. I want us to take our health very seriously and just remember that you are your biggest advocate. And guess what? If you don't like the way a doctor's treating you, deuces, you can find another one. Do your research, find another one. I'm big on bedside manners. Like, I will not see a doctor if I don't get a good energy vibe from them, patience. I require all of that. So you guys are not stuck. Advocate for yourself.
Absolutely. Ditto, what Monique said. But leaving here and this being, a secret situation, I'm like, if she's not willing, there's already that hint of not only do I not want to share this, but no, I don't want to go home or, the family home. I don't want to be there either. I have a thing tonight, with my Gemini boyfriend, my white boy. But it's like, if I'm not going to share it with you, and this is, something this intense that's happening with me and my boyfriend, Tom, I'm probably going to be able to share it with him. But first we get here. And I was like, okay, this is when I knew like the damage was damaging. It'd be a cold day, no matter what's going on. Maybe even before your man, you will share some with your bestie all day long. Like, I ain't gonna tell nobody else. But normally, as a woman, you are able to confide first in your friend, of years, because they understand you better than anybody. Ashley, how you pronounce his name?
Oh, her name is Cheske.
Oh,
I had to go back and rewatch her parts because the girl tried to call her Francesca, and she was like, "It's Cheske."
I felt myself going to say the wrong thing. Yeah. Let's see. You know it's real when you can't confide in your best friend. In Queenie's pattern, we get into this pattern of Queenie not only not being able to confide in her friends the way that she wants to, but she just feels like, and this is when I kind of begin to see myself a little bit. She sees herself in feels like her friends in comparison to her, like they have everything together. Like, oh, she's perfect. She knows where she's going, what she wants, and her life is always just together. What's wrong with me? Like, has anybody, Kay, I'm gonna come to you first. I feel like Kay is, a secure woman, so probably not. But has Kay, have you ever had an experience of just in your circle comparing yourself to, your friend or your family to go, I'm not gonna burden her what I have going on and, let the air out of the room because she always has her life completely together.
I mean, not in the manner of like comparing myself to others. Now I do will withhold things to not burden other people. I've been there, but I've always been the black sheep and the weird one. So no, there's no comparison. Learn that early.
I knew Kay, Ashley.
I guess it ebbs and flows, right? Because at some spaces and times in your life, you're the friend that has it all together. And then at other times and spaces, your other group, the other people in your group do. I have in the past, though, struggled with pride, similarly to what Kay is talking about. Like, maybe not similarly, but as far as me, like, I can handle this by myself. I got this. I'm strong enough. I can do this. Like, I'll be fine. They don't have to worry about it. And when I broke it down, that was really a lot about pride and ego, right? And not really wanting to humble myself and ask for help. But yeah. And then some things you feel like are just so terrible and you finding yourself in the similar position again, it can be embarrassing too, to share with your friend group. Like, okay, I'm back here again. Like I'm in this space again. So yeah, but Cheske was a great friend. So I don't really know why she felt this way with her. Yeah. The other ones, I wouldn't trust them as far as I can throw them. But Cheske was the one I liked. So,
EJ.
Sorry.
Oh, you're on mute, EJ.
There you go.
There we go. Can you hear me now? There we go. No, I completely understand. No, I can definitely relate because I have been that person who didn't want to talk to my friend, like my really close friend, about something just because sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm about to go tell this same story again. Like I'm in this same spot and it feels like everybody else is progressing, but I'm here and don't nobody want to hear my mess about this again, like, or you just feel like you can't go to them and it's not because they made you feel that way. It's all about yourself, but you just feel like, okay, nah, I'm not gonna do this again. And I know I've been there before and my friend has just had to tell me, like, whatever it is, you can come to me, you can talk to me about it. I'm gonna be the last person that judges you about anything. But that's not what you feel, when you're in the thick of it. When you're in the thick of it, you're just like, shoot, I don't want to tell anybody about this because here we go again, especially if it's a repetitive pattern. It just feels like exhausting to tell somebody the same thing again.
Monique.
Yes. So, for the most part, I've always felt comfortable confiding in my close friends. Well, I'm very thankful for those friendships. However, there are moments where I've held certain things to myself or, I waited, longer than normal to seek advice, just depending on the situation. So I guess I can somewhat relate, but I think Ashley said it. I don't get why she didn't tell Cheske because I feel like Cheske is like her bestie. Like I put them on the level of like a Molly and Issa. Shout out to Insecure. So it was confusing that she didn't say it, but I guess it fits with her personality as we grew to learn throughout the series. Shout out to Cheske. Cheske, when I watched her character on this show, I just felt like, damn, I wanted to be. I wish I was like her. I wish I was more confident like her. I wish I was able to speak up the way she is to people. I just really admired her character. And I can understand how Queenie could probably compare herself to Cheske. And Cheske is probably one of those friends that looks like she has it all. But again, mental health. And going back to that old quote, check on your strong friends, right? Because everyone's got stuff. So, but I love Cheske and I really admired her character.
You hear that, Shawnee and Tiara? Check on your strong friends. Check on me. This is, what really let me know just how broken that she probably was. The fact that she couldn't confide that deeply in her. And shout out to both of these ladies. From what I could see, our lead here, I think it's Deani Brown, if I'm saying her name right. Right, this is her first role, and this is Cheske is her first role. Also, she's actually a singer, a performer, and they did the thing here. I thought they did amazing. Let me read this good. Oh, come on, TG, because I know you ain't watched the show. Queenie can be relatable to many people. Thank you so much, TG, for the $2, and she most definitely can. Let's see, I'm gonna show y'all some love for that in a second. Let me get through one more of these slides, because this is when it was like, okay, we're really getting into the meat of and potatoes of what we're dealing with here. I wanted to get through this first before we get to that family sit down. With the show just starting off, every single episode there was I put white hands unwarranted on Queenie. It was a whole lot of that in the show. Micro to full-blown aggressions. Queenie in white-centered spaces. The family issues are real. Because it was just like, okay, well, if Queenie doesn't feel comfortable confiding in her bestie, she doesn't want to really be into her family like that or confide in her aunt. When I saw the space that she was in, just going into work, and it's like, boy, my picture right there, I really got to show you this badge. It was given, what is that? Is it the other black girl? A lot of this was given the other black girl also on Hulu. That whole thing there, or just the interactions that she kept having with her boss. But that was just episode 1. And then throughout the show, we have the situation with the little girl at the pool, the situation with the woman, in the club. It was giving Karen. It was a whole lot of that happening. Ashley, I'm going to come to you first. How did you feel about all the unwarranted white hands in situations on Queenie and how she was treated throughout the show?
Yeah, it made it even more complex, right? Because we eventually get to the bottom of her affinity to white men, right? So that can make that you're like, okay, I can understand that. But when you see the treatment that she received from every other white person in her space, in her universe, in her friend group, at the job, out in public, and it was like she was still vying for their approval, their acceptance to be present in those spaces. It really, really, really made me sad. Honestly, it's because she was always too much. She was always the extra one. She was always this. It's like in that scene with her boss, you literally just had a miscarriage, came to work, and she's mad at you because you're late. You're literally on the diversity inclusion poster in the office space, and they're still like, who are you? I still need to see who you are. It seemed like every time she was pressing to be in spaces where she wasn't going to be fully embraced and accepted, rather than running towards those people and places that would accept and validate and love her. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so it made me sad. Of course, I wanted her to slap a couple of them up, especially that friend of hers, Rebecca. We could have choked her out. We could have kicked the doctor in the kneecaps. The boss eventually, that was all problematic, right? The whole sexual harassment thing, she's automatically guilty because she's the black woman even before an investigation. Yeah,
we gonna have to get into that, Ashley, because I had to take that situation with Queenie in the office space with a grain of salt, just because how she was conducting herself in the workspace. But we will get into that. I can get into you feeling some type of way about Queenie, her continuing to try to pitch her ideas to the boss, and it's like, no, I need you to be the quirky. She kept calling her quirky, like, go over there and be black and do the black social media stuff that I want you to do. Don't come and try to present anything to me. EJ, how did you feel about all of the hands that was on Queenie and in her space chat?
Girl, well, first and foremost, the boss, I was over her from the very beginning because you could see that there was something visibly wrong with her when she walked in. You could tell that, like, I'm sure they have been around her enough to know that there was something going on with her, and you didn't even stop to say, how you doing? Is everything okay? Nothing. Just straight to the business and getting on her about being late. And I'm just like, really? Is that what we're doing? And the like Ashley talked about when she first came in having to show the badge. I just was like, really? Is this what we're doing? The pool situation when I would have smacked that little girl so hard. I would have beat that little girl ass. I mean, but I would like she would have had to get it. I'm sorry. And her mama would have had to get it too. Because seriously, you just don't let your child do this. I wouldn't have been the one walking away from that space. I'm sorry. They would have walked away. And then the other friend, Cassandra, I think is her name.
Yeah.
What I call her, Rebecca? Yeah,
it's just a lot. And she just kept wanting to be validated by these people. And I was just like, I wanted to choke Queenie so bad.
Telling you.
Monique.
Oh, okay. Let me start with the good. Shout out to her white coworker. I forget the name.
Darcy.
Y'all know disclaimer, Tara, I am not good with names. So it's a running joke on my channel and my supporters. So yeah. Darcy, she was probably the only good white person on this damn show. And I just and you know, I've had white friends growing up, and no, I think she was a really good friend to Queenie. I think she was the type of friend that Queenie really needed. So shout out to Darcy. However, everybody else that was Caucasian on this series could get the hands. Now you guys are probably not going to agree with me, and that's okay. I forget. I guess midway in the show, I did start to warm up a little bit to the boss, because I do feel like she cared in a sense for Queenie. I'm gonna be honest. At one point, I thought she was gonna get fired for her behavior. So I'm not gonna come for her just because she's white. I feel like she gave Queenie a lot of grace. Again, y'all might not agree with me. That's okay. This is just how I see it. I do feel like she gave Queenie a lot of grace throughout the series. But where she lost me was how she handled the sexual assault situation. That was very troubling for me. It was very triggering, and it was very upsetting to witness. So I feel like she went from a kind person who was almost like a mentor to Queenie to then now you're my enemy, because how do you handle a situation like that with me, and you're supposed to have my back? So yeah, but everybody else could get the hands. Now at the pool, I told y'all I used to suppress emotions. Baby, I don't care about all that. Even the old Monique would have got up and cussed them the heck out, because not only was the little girl rude, I don't like rudeness, especially from children.
Don't touch me.
You touched me? Baby, it would have took everything. Jesus would have had to come down here himself and stop me, because I would have been up in that mama's face like this, and I would have been cussing, and they would have had to kick me out the pool, and that would have been fine.
Did she call Queenie a sea creature? I'm a sea creature, and you're a sea creature too. Or like, she just like, what the hell?
Yeah, I love when Queenie was like, of course that's your mother. Of course. You learned it from her. Like, it was crazy.
I would have tried to get a little girl some grace. Now, little mama's in the club. She would have had to catch these hands, because what you're not going to do is like I tell you, you want me to touch you, girl, I'll touch you.
Oh, you mean at the club incident?
Yes, I'll touch you. She would have.
I would have cussed that one out too, because she tried it.
Yeah, I can get into what you're saying about the boss, and I have a slide for that, situation. The boss was just kind of giving me kind of like that semi-ally who's like, I'm an ally, but deep down when it comes to it, you're gonna, choose differently. It just that situation. She was giving semi-ally, but we gonna get into Queenie, because Queenie would have been about my business. Girl, get out of this building. You're fired. I just can't. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had to like really, really, really think about this, because my first instinct was, you really just gonna let these white people talk about you like this, like in all spaces, like you just letting people get away with all types of racism, prejudice, microaggressions, all the isms. She just gonna allow them to do all of the things and not advocate for herself. And I'm like, where did you get this white is right from? And you need their approval. And then I had to think about, after watching the series, her childhood. what Black people in her childhood actually was there for her. She's been hurt by more Black people. Black people caused her pain. Her mom, her dad, whatever dude that was with her mom.
Roy.
Exactly. She's.
Oh, you remember that name?
I remember that one.
Her childhood pain came from Black people. And if you pay attention to what media and, what wants to be portrayed is that where's the white savior in all of this?
Nowhere.
And she wants, but in her mind, because of her trauma, if the Black people are the one who's causing me pain, I need that white savior to save me. And that might be another reason why was leaning towards the white men, because maybe that could be my way out of pain and trauma.
Say that, Kay, because it took me a little moment to digest that, because I was really trying to figure out, and it's the next slide we're going to get to, once we, get into her interaction in the workplace, and once we meet Tom and his family, I was like, girl, and we get into more of her, affinity for white men. I was trying to rack my brain and figure out why. I just had never got into a perspective of someone being hurt or traumatized in the Black space, so they gravitate towards, more so white men or just white spaces overall. That was a new one for me. that was
something that's different. And again, excuse my ignorance if I didn't catch what you guys caught. I didn't, and again, I might be ignorant on this. I didn't necessarily feel like she was trying to like pander or be accepted by white people. I feel like Queenie just wanted to be accepted by everyone. I feel like the way she acted in white spaces was kind of the same way she acted in Black. Of course, she was more comfortable in Black spaces by default, but her letting people say whatever and her not sticking up for herself and her walking, I feel that was Queenie. That was just her. Like, I don't think it mattered if it was white or Black. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. That's just how I took it. I may have to watch it a second time. I don't know.
No, we can definitely get into it. I think it's more so her mirrored behavior with those men in her life, and just how she was kind of conducting herself in the friends group, whether it was Cheske or Cassandra. Like, there was just a difference to me, and it just seemed like she felt more worth or validation, or she was just constantly seeking it with them. And especially when she gets more into living her best life, it's just like, y'all, look at me, it's just really, her just seeking something. And she definitely wasn't seeking that same thing in a Black space, especially when we got into her family. Maybe we could have seen her with more Black people than Frank, because we're gonna get into Frank, because girl, don't do him like that. Maybe if we could have if we could have, seen her around someone else other than Cheske, we could have, read a little differently. But
yeah.
This show child, it was just like, love me, choose me, pick me. At that time.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Milky coffee colored kids with Tom's nose. 3 years of angry clothes off Queenie. I need space. You're too much. We meet Tom and his family, and I was like, all right, girl. This wasn't giving, loving 3-year relationship. Like, Tom had been tired of Queenie, but be that as it may, I was like, girl, why are we in this space? Why are we here? It was so much happening in that first episode just to say so much about Queenie without, saying much at all. But, she has a moment of speaking out of turn, saying her true feelings and ruin the whole birthday. And it's just like, this is the last straw for me. We need space indefinitely, and I'm moving out. From the moment of Tom needing his space and moving out, like, first of all, we got this apartment together. I cannot have this apartment without you. So that means you don't care about me. You don't care about my life. You don't care about my living situation. He just, pretty much ups and leaves, and that's just pretty much it. And for the most part, I was like, girl, did he ever like you? Like, I needed a flashback or something. You first, Ashley.
Yeah, when she said, "Oh, and the baby will be half cast," I said, "Oh hell!" The gloves came off. Let's just go ahead and have it on out, Granny. But I mean, what Queenie said, well, hopefully you're dead before, the baby. It tickled me. It probably shouldn't have tickled me the way that it did, because we know that was a slip. Queenie ain't talk crazy to nobody but her family. Okay. Up until this point. Again, this scene made me ask questions of myself, like, dang, she's been with this guy for 3 years and he has no empathy for her experience just being a Black woman, right? When he tells her, I can't be like you, Queenie. I can't always be angry.
Yeah.
And she's like, angry? Am I always angry? It's like in any part of these 3 years, you have no clue about my experience. And so then I started asking myself the question, well, did Queenie not communicate? Because we see that she'll shut down, but still, if I'm going to date interracially, he better be well acquainted with the struggle. Like, I don't know if we need to have quiz sessions or what, but he's got to understand and at least get a feel for what the Black experience is. I don't know where they saw that going. And like you said, a man willing to move out and see you in degradation and squalor in a one-room flat on the South End, like, you don't love me. You never loved me. You never wanted me. And then I don't know if any of you have gotten this before, but I've gotten this from friends, from family, from a handful of suitors, right? You're just a lot. You're too much. And I think with Queenie, she was a lot, right? Based on her trauma, personality, but never too much. And I really hate that was echoed throughout this whole series. I think it speaks to what Kay was talking about from when she's a child, right? Your daughter's too much. So let's abandon her. So her being too much, I think that replayed over and over and over throughout the series. And that's where the empathy came from. Cause I'm with you. I couldn't stand Queenie for like the first 3 or 4 episodes. Like I felt bad for her and I had empathy for her, but she pissed me off. Right. But yeah, when you see that echoed and from somebody you done laid up with, spread your legs, shared your body with for 3 years to, in an instant, be like, all right, hope you find something to do. Get them boxes, sis. It was that pissed me off. But
and I could identify just a smidget with Tom, because if you're, not, because she makes it clear, like when she yells, like, it's my stuff, like I don't have to, I'm dealing with it, like she's dealing with everything internally, and he's just been in a relationship with a woman for like just pretty much closed off to him. But at the same time, it just was like, if you are that type of woman, clearly Queenie needed someone willing to give time, dedications, and patience to really get with her on a spiritual level. And clearly Tom was never that man. And I just hated that she wasted 3 years of her life to even know that. But EJ, I'm gonna come to you next. How did you feel about the milk and magnesia babies?
Girl, that part right there, I was like, I said, now, Grandma, I know I'm supposed to respect my elders. That's what they tell me. But like, I know, but seriously though, what I felt in that moment was, you're not gonna stand up for me, you're not gonna say anything, you're not gonna speak up. And this lets me know that they have been dealing with this for a long time. She was way too comfortable saying the things that she said. She had no remorse for them. And the fact that Tom said his bleep 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 self right there and didn't say one single thing let me know exactly who he was. And when he goes on to tell her to leave, knowing that she can't afford it, knowing that he has a place that he could go, if you truly love me, if you truly care about me, and this is really just a break, what would have happened is I'm going to go stay at my parents' house, you're going to stay here, I'm still going to pay what needs to be paid, and then we're going to figure this out. That's what someone who really loves you and cares about you would have done. And I hated that Queenie couldn't see that. I hated that she was chasing after him. Girl, it was killing me that, like, I just wanted to get at her so bad. I think we all felt the same sentiment about not liking this character for a good portion of it, until you could really start to get that background of what was happening, what the trauma that she had dealt with before. Because before that, I wanted to strangle her.
Yeah, she was broken. All those moments of her constantly like texting and, hey, look at me, like, what's good, Tom? And Tom, she's constantly thinking and venting about Tom to other people. I was like, girl, he don't like you, sis. Monique.
Oh, well, for those that have watched my channel more recently, I have been a little vulnerable of my past. And in the past, Monique Nicole used to dabble with snow. Do we call men snow bunnies? That's for the girls. The vanilla chocolate. The swirl. Thank you. I have a past of dipping and dabbling with the swirl. That is my past life. I am not there anymore. However, I am well equipped with this situation. Again, luckily, I will say this, though, the white men that I've dated in the past, I guess I got lucky. Their families loved me. They embraced me. They treated me great. They really treated me great. Now, the outside world, I got this, right? But as far as internally within the guy's family, I was always treated well. So I'm appreciative of that experience. However, let me get on you, Tom. Like the lady said, it just speaks to your lack of integrity and really your character, because for you to sit there with a woman that you love, you know how your family is, but that shouldn't be an excuse. They don't get a pass for being disrespectful and low-key racist because that's your family. He definitely should have checked grandma. You know what I mean? Now, Queenie's comment wasn't the nicest, but I understood her frustrations. Now I'm going to give Tom a little bit of sympathy. I also understood some of his frustrations with Queenie. Like a lot of us said, we did not like Queenie the first 4 episodes. It was times that we wanted to jump through the screen and choke her. So I can't imagine living with her for 3 years and being in a relationship with someone who doesn't open up, who can't express their thoughts, who doesn't say I'm sorry, who doesn't communicate. That wasn't fair to Tom either. So I have to give him a little bit of grace. Not a lot, but I am going to give him a little bit of grace in that aspect. But yeah, y'all, this was a lot. Now, as far as the "you're too much" comment, I don't know if I would say Queenie is too much. I think for me, I would have probably verbalized it as, you internalize things, you don't communicate, you don't express yourself. I'm often lost in confusion. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're feeling. Those are all things that could be detrimental to a relationship for sure. But I don't know if I would say she's too much. Maybe she's I don't know. It's all interpretation and how you receive that message and interpret it. But she kind of was a lot. Now that I'm thinking about it,
He lost me at angry. Don't you got boy?
Yeah, the angry part was like, don't do that. Don't.
It's a lot of that painted narrative in the show of the angry black woman. Like any little ounce of emotion I show, I'm just the angry black woman.
Yeah,
like,
I hate that trope. But does Tom not get any grace for maybe?
No, he gets a little bit. I think where I kind of lost it is where that moment, where she's walking in the rain, child, and she ends up at Tom's house. And she still at that moment can't actually verbalize her whole situation, or just the fact that, I was feeling this way because I miscarried with our child and it was affecting me emotionally. Or even in the end where he brings them little tired ass flowers. And we just kind of cut and we get to the next scene. I wanted a moment of her holding him accountable into task to go like, yes, I was these things, but this is why. But in turn, you could have been this. I was really hoping that we would have got a little bit of closure with them, but we didn't. We tried to just do the flower. I guess her throwing them flowers in the trash, that was all the closure we needed. But you guys have been absolutely awesome in here in this chat. Thank you to the 60 people here. Remember to keep hitting that like button, showing us some love. I'm going to show y'all some love for the 60 people that are here, and also for you guys sending them super chats, because we need it. Keeping the lights on over here at this place. Let me show y'all some love, and we will be right back.
Black girl, if you 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 black girl, do your thing, do your thing, do your thing, do your thing. Black girl, if you black girl, if you black girl, if you JP, my neck, my back,
So butter rip brown.
my neck, my back, my back, my neck, my back,
So butter rip brown. Oh my, oh my,
my neck, my back, my neck, my back, my neck, my back.
Shout out to Queenie. Just the black woman in the show in general. Everybody was looking good. The hair was looking good. Skin was looking good. Queenie was beautiful. I don't know how I left it out. Queenie was, absolutely gorgeous. The shape was given, child, or the outfits were given, everything, the besties was given, and everything just looked really luscious and black and colorful, and I loved every single second of it. Shout out to the black girls. I do not know, you guys, anybody know what happened to Kay? Kay, if you are having issues or some technical things, hit me up in the chat or on Instagram or anything. But Kay, we will look forward if and when you can return, y'all. I don't know what happened, Kay, but let me know. But leaving this here, we gonna give Tom a pinch of grace, child. But we get more into just a little bit. I ain't gonna give him that. Yes, Jamaican family that eat, prays, and forces forgiveness. Queenie's emotionally unavailable and distant. You need to talk to your mother. Now, child, look at here. If there is not, something that a pet peeve of mine, when somebody has experienced any kind of trauma, everybody and their mama, some feel like they have the right to tell you when and how to get over that. Like, you have this X amount of time to, experience your trauma, have your little grievances, and then you need to forgive and move on. Now, with this Jamaican family, forgiving and moving on means us just forgiving and moving on. We're not discussing or talking about nothing. Once we meet more of Queenie's family, shout out to Jeffrey from Fresh Prince of the Bel-Air. I was happy to see Jeffrey. Now, that's not the man's name.
Mr. Marcel. Yes.
Joseph Marcel. I was really happy we got Kay back here, y'all. I was really, really happy to see him here in the show. And he did a great job. I was like, you better act, Joseph. Yeah. I'll be happy. Anytime I get to see him or unveil, I'll be real excited.
He looks good. He aging so well. He looks good.
But I thought the dynamics were really interesting with the family. Of course, I have this shot down here because we have Queenie, for the most part in the show, even though she is interacting with her family, she is actively avoiding her mother. And it looked like a situation of, hey, we're going to all be at church. Come on down. Like, the family is trying to cultivate and force her into talking to her mom that she is clearly trying to avoid everybody except for that 15-year-old cousin. Shout out to the 15-year-old cousin. She was everything in the show. And I like how that sense of generational trauma was dwindling down the younger and younger the generation, got. Because Diana wasn't doing none of that. So, no, sis, you need to go get some help. You need to get some therapy. Why you not doing this? Like, I was here for, everything that the young cousin had to give. But Kay, I'm going to come to you first. How did you feel about just the family overall and them kind of trying to force, more so the mama, because the mama was on it, trying to force her to talk to her mother?
The thing is about Black families is that they try to fix everybody else's issues with their own, and they never turn the mirror on themselves. Like, mom, you're trying to repair, you want your granddaughter to repair the relationship with her mom, but how was your relationship with your own daughter? And because she didn't get that way on her own, are we repairing that? There's some unspoken things be going on between her and her own husband that we're not talking about. Like, they're leaving elephants in the room. Like, I'm gonna work on, make sure y'all get your problems together so that nobody is looking at me and mine.
Okay, why you had to throw that out there? Because I can't save it. It's on my heart. So Sylvie has a whole different daddy in Jamaica, from what I gather, and we're just not going to talk about that. Exactly. I was waiting on them to address. That's why I was like, and we're going to get to the end, whether or not we're going to get another season of this, or was this like a one-off situation? I was waiting for us to address that, or I think the show tried to kind of maybe have it open-ended, like the husband already knew, but regardless, I love my daughter. That's my daughter. But I was like, I want somebody to say something. They didn't say nothing. EJ,
they want to point the fingers at Queenie's the problem right now, not everybody else. We focus on Queenie and her problems.
No, not even that, Kay. I wanted to know, like, was Queenie made aware of this? Does she know about that? Like, that secret in the family, like, everybody knows about it, but it's still a secret. Like, I wanted to know if knew that, or was that just did Sylvie know that? We didn't even get any clarification on whether or not she didn't know if that was her real father or not. It was just kind of just there. EJ.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was one of the things because I feel like they did try to leave it open ended, like just kind of make us think like, oh, he probably already knew. But I wanted them to actually say it. I wanted it to be addressed because we are talking about generational stuff here. We're talking about trauma that's being passed on from this person to this person to this person. And like you said, the grandmother hasn't even confronted her own trauma, but she is actively trying to force this relationship between Queenie and her mom, thinking that that will just fix everything. And like I can't remember who said it, but like somebody said, I don't like that either. I don't like it when you give somebody a timeline on when it is okay for, like, okay, you got to have this fixed by the. No, my pain is my pain, and I should be able to confront that pain and deal with that pain when I want to deal with that pain. I should be able to talk to that person when I want to talk to that person, not just because you say I should talk to them and I should get over it. It's not always that simple as just getting over something. But yeah, I wish they had to like actually address that particular situation. And I did like the cousin. She was super dope and she probably had the most wisdom out of all of them. Even the auntie just wanting everything to be okay because she was very partial to Sylvie. You could tell that she loved Sylvie and she just wanted everything to be okay and just wanted to kind of push everything under the rug. That's not always the way things work. You know, can't just push things under the rug because we see, look where Queenie is right now. If they, and think about it, what if Sylvie did have some sort of idea of it? What if she did have some sort of idea and this is triggering for her? And this is maybe why she's reacting the way she's reacting, why she's with Roy, why she's doing all of these things. I know it. I know that her father that raised her gave her love. We can tell that from the character. But sometimes people not knowing where they come from or there being this secret that no one seems to want to address, that can affect people regardless of, you know, whatever else they're receiving. So I just feel like, I don't know. It was just a lot going on, y'all. It was a loaded series.
We needed more, EJ. That little moment of the grandpa, like, I wish we had talked about or done some things different. I was like, tell her what a letter at from the man in Jamaica.
Exactly.
Ashley.
Yeah. This part was super heavy, right? Because it wasn't just about I think the situation that happened with her mom. And I'm gonna share a little bit of my business. We'll make it a little bit interesting, right? So I was given up. My birth mother was 14 when she got pregnant with me, and so she gave me up, right? And I was adopted within the same family, but for such a long time, I had a lot of feelings about her being weak, being less than, how could you do that to your child or whatever. And I would have random family members at random, you need to go on and just talk to her. You need to just go on and talk to her. You just need to go on and do it. And the thing about these situations are, especially in Black families, it was like what happens in this house stays in this house. But then even outside of that, it was like what happens in this house, we're still not even going to talk about in this house. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing's ever going to get done. And so I think I was like in my late 20s, probably, when I got this understanding. It was like an epiphany, right? That all of us are built differently. I was basing my birth mother, who she was, right, as this 14-year-old girl, based on my mom who raised me, who was a superwoman. Okay. And so when I came to that reality that, like, dang, I'm flawed too. Like, I'm this 28-year-old, 29-year-old woman. I don't have it all together. Then I was free and I could have a talk with my birth mother. But here's the rub. Like Queenie's mom was, especially in the beginning, my birth mother was in an alternate reality about what happened. She felt as though she was the victim, just like Queenie's mom felt like she was the victim. I don't think Queenie's issue was really about not forgiving her mom. I think it was about every time her mom opened her mouth, it was like she was the victim. She never took ownership or accountability in the part that she played in abandoning her own child, with or without this man. And so I think that was a big part of Queenie's issue, not being able to forgive her mom, because there was never this, you know what, Queenie, I'm so sorry. This is what I did to you. I was wrong, baby. I chose this man over you, honey, like Louis and Claudia. Okay. I chose this man over you. And I was wrong. That was the big thing. But yeah, I think as far as the elders, we know that's how they were raised. It's generationally perpetuated. So it's like I can't go too hard on Grandma Veronica and Papa, because when you know better, you do better. And I think they were just now learning.
I'm going hard. Don't be coming over here putting that Negro spiritual off up on me. I don't want any of that. I'm so glad those curses were breaking with Diana, because absolutely not. Monique, I'm gonna come to you. Bury those feelings and move on. Take it to the grave. Queenie's always been soft like her mother. They were throwing around that soft word real hard. Monique.
All right, this is a lot. I'm trying to figure out what angle to go. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I like the family. I think they meant well. However, I think the way they handled the situation with trying to get the mom and Queenie reunited was just done wrong. I don't like, this is what it felt like for me. It felt like they knew Sylvia did wrong in the past, but I guess they forgave her and had sympathy and let it go. And now they expected Queenie to accept it and let it go. But like Ashley said, and again, I'm going off of a little bit of assumption because we didn't see everything prior, right? My question before I dive in is, I would have liked to have known how many years has it been since Queenie last spoke to her mom? Has her mom been trying to reach out to her for years and she keeps ignoring her? Or did she recently just pop up again? Like, I would have liked to have known a little more of the timeline, right? But to Ashley's point, I do think if Sylvia came more humble, I don't know if that's a word, humble, it would have been a better reaction. But then again, Queenie didn't give her much time of the day. Like, she didn't want to breathe in the same room as her mom. So I'm at a tug of war with the emotions, because obviously all my sympathy and empathy goes to Queenie, but the therapy in me is also, I have to give sympathy to Sylvia. She also was damaged. She also was maybe a product of her environment or the generational curse. I have sympathy for both women, but I do think Sylvia could have handled it better. And I do think the family could have handled it better. I don't like how it's just this narrative of, well, Queenie, talk to your mom, or Queenie, oh, your mom's coming to church, we're going to ambush you. I just don't think that doesn't serve people well. You know what I mean? I think if the family was like, look, Queenie, your mom did a horrible thing. We have talked to her about it. She is sorry about it, and she wants to truly apologize to you and explain herself to you, and just all this stuff. Maybe it would have been different, but I don't know. It was sad. It was just a sad situation.
I thought we were gonna end off on a family therapy session, but we ain't do that. Because everybody, or at least a session with her and Sylvia, I thought we were gonna do that, because Sylvia was damaged, child. Thank you, King Nikki TV, for the $5 super chat. I don't care if you're my mama or one of Christ's disciples. You're not forcing me to talk to nobody. I have family I haven't talked to since 18. I'm almost 40. Absolutely not. And then there was that sense of Queenie just being so. Thank you so much, Nikki. We got to talk to them about it. Y'all go check out King Nikki's TV. She just dropped a horror tier video with Kate Black down there last night, and it's really, really good. Y'all go check that out. Yeah, I think it was just Queenie was so damaged at the time, and just being anywhere near her mom was so triggering for her. We have her pretty much hyperventilating and having, it looked like the whole anxiety attacks just because, her mom's name is mentioned, or she may be bi, or just the aspect of her maybe even being in the room. So it's just like, y'all triggering me in a whole different way that you're not even acknowledging, just because y'all want to force me to talk to somebody. Like, get off my neck. I could see that. But yeah, Sylvia needs to be in one of them sessions. Hopefully they win.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, don't call me soft. She's so soft. Everybody's soft. Me being emotional is soft. Gotta be strong like the black woman we are. Shut up. Absolutely that has to be strong. Now, a new place is giving Trap House and giving Tom his space. Cousin Frank crushing and Queenie's liberation. What's good, BQ? Now look at here. we have, Queenie get her own space. I was here with Queenie in this whole situation. Hey, honey. I was here with Queenie in this whole situation of just being like, I don't care if hell come high water. I ain't moving back home. Like, we just, I don't care where I gotta go. Because that's me. Like, I don't care where I gotta be. First, I thought it was all her. Then the roommates popped out. I was like, oh, girl, the struggle. But via that situation, and if Tom's going to have his space doing him, I'm going to be out here doing me. And doing that and getting more into her bestie space, we are introduced to cousin Frank, who is clearly crushing on Queenie. Look like they've been familiar with each other since childhood, and he is trying to push up on Queenie the best way he can. And Queenie, at this point, coping with alcohol, putting herself like when the alcohol was introduced, and I was like, Queen, we can't take you nowhere. Oh yeah, how you gonna be a fine hot mess? It's not attractive. He is right there. We're on these apps. We're swiping left and the men. And at this point, I wasn't aware that Queenie was just keeping herself, in those white spaces, men included. I was like, why does she keep passing up on Frank? To come to you first. What did you think about Frank and how she was just, it was just killing me how oblivious she was. She wanted nothing to do with him outside of the multiple times that, he was checking on her. Clearly he wanted more from her than just the aspect of sex with Queenie, her body, or he, if you need some emotional support, I know this is a tough time. Your mother is Christmas, just there. And it was like, yeah, whatever. Bye, nigga. Oh, I didn't even say that.
We an hour something in. You good?
How did you feel about that, Kay?
When you are in a place of pain and darkness, you're not gonna see the light for what it is. She was not in a place to receive him right then.
Amen.
She was not there. Amen. And she couldn't. That would have been a disaster waiting to happen. She would have been comparing him to Tom. She would have been comparing him because he's not white. She would have been taking those toxic behaviors over to him, and then ruin the whole friendship. She was not in a space for somebody that was going to treat her right. She was not there. She actually didn't even want anybody to treat her right, because look at the trash she was bringing home. She wanted to be treated how she felt about herself in that moment, and he was not going to do that.
Oh, girl, you better cook. You better cook.
I feel like I was in therapy right then. I was wait a minute.
Your braids was top notch, girl. You was looking good, girl. You deserve better. I just love how he was shielding her in the club. Like, it was giving protection. Ooh. Even that situation, it's just like, I ain't never seen no Uber that looked like that. Where is she? Is she safe? Like, and she wasn't. We'll get into that Uber. EJ, what did you think about Frank and just his approach with Queenie and her just being completely oblivious to it?
Yeah, I mean, this is when I started to because at first I didn't really notice her thing with just wanting to be with the milky, the milky guys. I didn't notice that until she was actively avoiding him. I was like, why is she actively avoiding him? Don't she see he trying to push up on her? He being all nice, like, come on now. It's like he's showing you this attention that you really need, and he's showing you this patience, and you're just like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want, you're literally trying to avoid him. But I liked Frank. I did not think that, I thought that Frank was going to be a stand-up guy, to be honest. I was like, he seems like he's going to be a stand-up guy. I wasn't reading any signs or anything like that from him. But when she was turning him down, I was like, okay, we finna turn down the good guy and we about to have some trash up in here. So, and there we went.
Monique.
Oh, baby. Y'all should have seen me every time Frank came on the scene. I was Team Frank since episode 1, whenever the first episode he was featured on. It's one of those things where I'm not good with names. Kay was said, it's just like when you're kind of in the mess, you can't see the light almost. You can't really see things for what they really are. She was too much in her own mess. And it's actually hindsight 2020. It's good that they didn't explore that too soon, because she would have been toxic. She would have been negative. She would have projected her ish onto him. It would have been a hot mess. So I am happy that it happened the way. Now, she could have she could have cut her suffering in half if she
Yes.
got with
Hey, Monique, I just wanted Frank to save her from herself just a
I
little bit.
wanted, thank you, Tara. I wanted Frank to save her from herself. Listen, when I reflect on my life, I'm getting older. I'll be 34 in September. As we do, we reflect. And I realized that in my freshman year of college, I had a Frank. I actually had a Frank in my life. And looking back now, I'm just like, damn, I really messed that up. I was paying attention to all the wrong boys. I wanted all the other boys, and I didn't want the Frank that was right there in my face. I was too blinded by my own stuff. I couldn't really see that was the person that I really should have pursued. So you live and you learn. But now I'm about to be 34, baby. I want all the Franks. So, baby, PSA. I want the good guy. I know TP said nice guys finish last, not with Monique Nicole. I'm grown now. I don't care about the pretty boy. I've dated the model types. I've dated I've done all that. I have lived. I'm ready to settle down. I want me a Frank. So any Franks out there, calling all Franks. If you're a good guy.
Monique says she wants some straight backs and some chocolate. Ashley.
So my take might be a little bit different. In Queenie's situation, I really adored Frank. Same. I'm on the same page with that. But I don't know if I liked the idea of how we wrapped the first season as if him being in her life was magically going to make some things better. I also appreciated the element of Cheske, which was his cousin, being like, look, Frank, don't mess with her unless you ready for her, because Frank was doing Frank, okay, out here in these streets. But I really wanted for Queenie just to get it together on her own. I really think Queenie just needed space and time to heal, to address these issues. But I think he was a soft landing. And if we get a season 2, I hope to see him in it. But yeah, I agree with all of the other ladies that if they would have tried to make that shake at that time, she would have ruined that man. She'd have been comparing Brown D to Pink D. It would have just been all kinds of wild situations.
Well, hold on. What did she say about a circumcised? Did she say she had not seen a
What? When?
That was the whole moment of I'm guessing with her being with the vanilla. She's like, oh, it's actually circumcised, and she found that a circumcised penis looked weird. I was like, what?
I thought maybe that's something they do over there in England. I don't know.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I just want to counter Ashley a little bit, my dear friend. I don't feel like Frank came in and it was like, I'm here to save Queenie. I really feel like it was I feel like the timing was perfect. Obviously by that point we had seen the growth in Queenie. She did put in the work in. She did start therapy. She did start to have her epiphanies and aha moments. And so I just felt like I was okay with how they progressed their relationship in the end. It just made sense. You know what I mean? So that's just my take. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. The happy ending, that's what people want to see. But I think practically with the amount of trauma that she had and just putting a man on top of it didn't necessarily, it wasn't necessarily going to make it easier for her. But I totally understand. I love a happy ending.
I thought we were going to go over.
She did say she needed time and patience, right? Didn't she tell him, whatever we're going to be, I just need a little bit more time and I need patience? Didn't she say that?
Oh, yeah, but she was going to drop them draws. We know Queenie.
Hey,
we know what it is.
Dropping them draws. Miss Big Batty Messy Backseat Queenie and Rough Sex Queenie. With Guy, the guy, a disconnected queen. Queenie's revolving door of non-black men. Now, child, we got a white boy on my roster. He be feeding pasta and lobster. I was like, oh, because it was like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm just unavailable because when she got drunk, it's like, if you don't want to see me in this dress, I know somebody who does. We meet this man here on the street in the little gentrified area of South London. And it's just like, well, yeah, all that mouth, he ain't backing it up. He's married anyway. I would never. But we called this man up. When she fell asleep in that tub, I was like, oh, Queenie, thank God you saved yourself. Girl, what are you doing? When she proceeded to hit that man up a second time, like the backseat situation, just how all the sex we have Queenie indulging in, and the fact that she is just completely disconnected, she's not indulging. It's not even. It doesn't even feel like she's really getting any pleasure from it. I was like, I was hurting at that point. Once we left the back seat and we meet this guy down here, and we can't even pay attention. We have moments of the whole show of Queen just being a trash friend, especially to Darcy. she just a whole bunch of nothing. She can't see the forest for the trees if there's a white man in her face, and we immediately take this man home and have just really it's rough sex, and then it's Queenie, have you been assaulted? This was a lot. I was really questioning Queenie here at this moment in her self-worth, because I mean, if we go, whatever, the backseat Queenie, the backseat, taking these, men you don't know back to your flat. It was everything just seemed so unsafe. And then it didn't even look like the penis was worth it. That's what was sending me. Everything looked trash. Nothing here serviced her. It was just like her body was being used, by these men, and this man, and just the fact that it's like, well, this isn't, a white man up here, but he's not a black man, so it's okay. I was like, what? It was disgusting, especially when we just left Frank with his straightbacks on the curb. I'm gonna come to you. How did you feel about, once we got into that app and we were swiping and it was just endless sex with random white men?
For people that are avoidant attached, for people that can't speak up for themselves, for people who are withdrawn, which you see a lot of her conversation took place in her head because she withdraws around people. So if she's numbing herself, trying to numb herself from emotions, from attachments, to feel something, she knew that sex didn't feel good to her. She knew that was intention. She was intentionally hurting herself because it's easier to feel a physical pain than an emotional one.
Cook.
Is that what that was, Kay?
She wasn't, because and like hurting herself with being around these men that she knows that they don't. Buddy straight up said, "I'm not your boyfriend." And so she know these men were no good.
I could
sit on the toilet without being in pain.
Jesus,
I could get that pain. I can get with that if it wasn't her. If it was just this is just sex. I could agree with you. I can't when we have moments of Queenie having expectations for somebody to treat this like, oh, so you want to hang out? Did you want to cuddle? Or are you going to stay over? And it's just like, I'm pursuing this as if it can be something more than sex. Like she's seeking another relationship.
She's seeking a trauma bond. She's that's not healthy. She's in a state of trauma. Why not bond with something that's unhealthy?
I think for me, it was just a disconnect. I'm like, are we going to get more in another season? Because we're sure to really shadow whatever abuse in Queenie's. Because at first, with what we're seeing, I thought Queenie was mentally, physically, and sexually abused also. I thought that's what it was giving. But once we have, the flashback moment, we see a lot of, we hear some verbal things. And we see, the actions that her mom, but we didn't see the extent of maybe what Roy would have done. And just the ringing voice of Roy in her head, it was just giving me sexual trauma. And it doesn't seem like that's what. So I was like,
I have to agree with you, Tara. From the outside looking in, I did think it was sexual trauma, but I do feel like it's possible to still have the reaction that Queenie had. Basically, I feel like if she was in a very violent, abusive household, so even if the violence wasn't inflicted physically onto her, she was still absorbing it. So she probably saw her mom. I'm sure Roy hit the mom in front of her. I would bet a lot of money on that. You know what I mean? So it's the yelling, it's the cursing, it's the verbal abuse, and I do.
That's still child abuse.
It's still child
emotional abuse. Is still child abuse.
Still child abuse, and you still internalize it the same. It still can affect you the same, and it can still trigger you all the same. And
tell me something, because I'm trying to figure it out. Ashley,
Yeah, I felt like, well, if we're going back to childhood, just imagine you being a 8, 9-year-old little girl left in an apartment by yourself, like literally left alone for months, like, or however long they said it was. It's like you would also cling to something and someone so that you would never have to be alone. And so I think in these moments where we saw her, especially with the whole race play thing, I know that was a hot topic earlier this year, but like he got you calling him master. Like it was just so oh. And the bruises that she would have, and then when she went to her gyno appointment to, I'm assuming, replace her IUD, and they're like, I don't feel safe. This looks like trauma. Like, girl, and even to the doctor, she says, I could never be that person. That would never happen to me. But it's like, sis, are you lacking that much self-awareness in the moment? So a part of it also felt like she was disassociating from these experiences, right? Like that's not me. Like, that's not who I am. That person you're seeing that can't sit on the toilet, that has all these tears, like that's not me. Wanting this man who clearly don't like me for real. He just likes my cootie cat. And then if we're talking about the swiping, the messages that she was getting and then entertaining.
Child. A guy up here lost me at New Year's same D. One of like I was like, what the New Year's same D. One of tonight, like what? And you see these messages, and she's like, like it's like I'm doing something. And then she's
and sharing it to the group chat, like she was proud of it.
For my life, like I was like, what the hell?
This is the thing, though, y'all. That would be okay for some women, but I think Queenie is not that type of woman. She was trying to force herself to be something that she's not because she wanted to feel. She was craving something, whether she was craving attention, she was craving. She was trying to fill a void, right? That's not Queenie. She wasn't a woman who just had casual sex. I feel like she forced herself. Now, there are women. I know women that can do that, and literally. And I don't know, that's their own trauma. I don't know. There might be trauma behind that. But Queenie's not that chick. You know what I mean? That's why she had that reaction of, oh, I thought you were going to spend the night. He was like, nah, boo. Bye.
Like, Monique, but you mean to tell me after time we just jumped off the porch? She jumped off the porch. Like, it wasn't like, I'm going to, go on a date and weigh my options. It was like, no, I'm going to swipe or go have sex in the back seat where somebody can't even afford me for the first time, because eventually we do it on our back in a bathroom. Then you couldn't even take us to a proper room, or just it was just like so devaluing. I was like, oh my god, girl.
It was degrading. Yeah.
God, EJ girl.
I really feel like she showed a lot of her, like, to go back where Ashley was talking about the abandonment issues. I feel like we really got to see that she really does have some serious abandonment issues. We already saw it where she couldn't let go of Tom. She kept continuously trying to put herself in front of this guy who was telling her, hey, I don't want you, is what he was saying, by not messaging her back, by not responding back to her. Then you got this other guy you attach yourself to, and you are continuously trying to get him to want to see more in you than what it is. Everybody knows what a booty call is. Everybody knows when it is what it is. But Queenie kept trying to make it more than what it was. And then when the other stuff, the rough, can we say sex? The rough stuff. Okay, I don't know. To be doing much. So when the rough stuff started happening, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like she's I kind of agree with Kay too when she talked about her trying to feel something, but not necessarily it being something good, but just the feeling of feeling something, whether it was pain. So I kind of, I see all of that kind of in one thing, but I just thought it was so, I don't know, it's just so weird and so awkward. I just felt that secondhand embarrassment that we talked about earlier. That's what I felt when I was looking at that. I felt so embarrassed for her. I felt so shamed for her. And I felt bad for her at the same time. It was like all these mixed emotions. And it was another time that I wanted to choke her out and just DP her or something, like, come on, what are we doing? Because that one guy, that one is the one. I mean, he really irritated me. And the fact that you actually let yourself call this man master, like the fact that you actually fed into ain't no way in hell You probably would have got Lorena Bobbitt messing with me on that type of stuff right there. I'm sorry. That is
I think
too
But think about it. Isolation is used as a torture tactic. There are people who lose their mind in isolation in prison. Her mom left her in isolation as a small child.
I
That
can't have any
triggers
time
mental
off.
illness.
The demons are gonna come knocking if I have time off. So yeah, she didn't want to be alone. But I'm like, girl, you picked the
The bottom of the barrel.
you could have been alone with Frank. Yeah, you have to do nothing, girl. He would have held you.
Not even that. She could have had casual sex with a half decent person. But again, it speaks to her trauma, her patterns. I forget who said it on the panel, but it's like she seeked men who basically showed her how she reflected how she felt about herself. She didn't feel good about herself. She didn't feel worthy. She didn't feel like she was deserving of good treatment. She just wasn't. She didn't feel that way. So that's why she was sleeping with the trash.
I could see that because we have those introspective, her little in their inner monologue, like, well, yeah, I think I like this. This is good. This, yeah, I'm like,
Girl.
you got to do that, girl. It's absolutely not. I think where it lost me is that she kept allowing the guy to return after the pain that he had put her through in the state of her uterus. I was like, ma'am.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Getting into these friends here. Of course, we have Darcy, we have Cassandra, and we have who we have. Ashley, what's her name?
Chess
Chess
K.
K. Chess K. I knew that.
Look how
Chess K. Queenie was a very, very self-centered friend for a minute, and it was crazy because she doesn't really want to share too much or confide a whole lot about, serious things that are going on in her life. But we are so eager to text the group, like I just, had to like stuff she should be embarrassed about. But we're venting about that. Is Queenie being judged, or is she just insecure? I'll give it to Cassandra and Darcy because the bestie was bestieing, and she knew just the state of her friend. Cassandra was very much giving judge. Cassandra was that friend for me that's like, I find my self-worth and my validation in how effed up your life is. Like I have it all together. It was that hint of, concern, but it was that condescending, thing. Kind of what we were getting with Darcy, but Darcy was more so just concerned for me. Even though it was like, do you really need to have sex to be happy? Maybe you should take it slow. And it was just like, you can't tell Queenie how to live or what to do in her life. But I thought Darcy's concern was just really just that. And she wasn't so much trying to judge her. She just saw her friend kind of slipping. And then just Queenie just being unaccountable and just being a bad friend, period. Because, girl, she was helping her out in their workplace. Darcy was going to need to be done. Because, girl, the way she should have been fired. AJ, I'm going to come to you first. How did you feel about these friends? More so Cassandra and Darcy.
Darcy, I was cool with. Darcy, I felt a true, genuine thing. I felt like she actually cared about her, but I also felt like she didn't know how to hold her friend accountable. I mean, sometimes you have to hold your friends accountable for their actions. You have to be able to be that friend that can say, listen, I know you're going through something, but what you're doing is not good. Like, I know she tried to say it in a roundabout way, but some people need direct to the point things, and whether they accept it or not, at the end of the day, I'm gonna feel good knowing that I told my friend the truth, because I feel like that's what a real friend does, is that they don't coddle you, they just tell you. And some people need that. Now, when it comes to Cassandra, this other girl, that thing right there, like, you could tell everything was always about her, and that there was really no real friendship, that it was a one-sided thing. This was all about, it's always about me. It's not about what you need. It's always something that's so and I don't want to use this word because we talked about this earlier, but she was extra to me. Now, that was extra. Like, everything about her was just saying, I'm not a real friend, and I'm just here just because it feels like, to me, Queenie kind of, I think she does this with a lot of her friends. You know how you can have that friend where their life is looking way worse than yours, so it makes you feel better. Yeah. I felt that from Cassandra. I felt like she was that friend that, oh, your life is like this, and even though she going through something too, right? But Queenie's life just looks so much worse than hers, and it almost gave her a feeling of like it made her feel better about herself. That's just the worst kind of friend to have, but that's what I got from her.
Ashley, I'm gonna come to you because I believe you said both of the white friends to get thrown away by the wayside.
Yeah, Raggedy. I will say that for I think Darcy really did have care and concern. But I think I don't know. All of them had a certain air about themselves, even in the way they approached her about certain things that I didn't necessarily like. Like even when Queenie, we know she got drunk in the workplace, and oh boy, what was he was a T name too, Ted.
Ted.
Whatever. He ended up taking her home, and she's like, "That's not a good look." It was like everything she did, from Darcy's standpoint. I think it gave a little bit judgy, but I do think Darcy was her friend. Cassandra ain't nobody friend. Cassandra was never her friend. That is not a friend. When I first saw her introduced when they were going to the rooftop that night, going up the stairs, I said, "Who is that woman?" I said, "That must be one of Darcy's friends she brought." I did not know that she was in the friend group because Cassandra almost had a disdain for Queenie. It was like, ew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're doing that. Like, oh, I'm disgusted. You're beneath me. Like, that's the air Cassandra gave for me. And I hated that for her. And I hated that Queenie was even going to entertain her later after we all know what happened with the situation. But you are too much. That's why no one wants you, Queenie. That's how she felt the whole time. That didn't just come out in that moment.
Exactly.
Cassandra was never her friend. Period.
Monique?
I mean, everything, what Ashley said. I mean, honestly, I already said I like Darcy. I really, really, really think it was a genuine friendship. And we saw it was a genuine friendship. You know, she always showed up for Queenie. I think she never abandoned Queenie. She never turned her back on her. And that is something that's so important to me because I do have some abandonment issues as well. I've been hurt by a lot of people. And so I appreciate people like Darcy. I do think Darcy could have spoke up a little bit more. I'm gonna be honest, the new and improved Monique, I like people to be real with me. I really want my friends to hold me accountable. I appreciate the truth. I tell everybody that I'm close to, I say, look, even if it's gonna hurt me, I'd rather you tell me the truth. I don't like to be lied to, because my thing is, okay, if I have a flaw or there's something I'm doing that's not being well received, let me know. That way I can learn and I can grow and I can improve. But if you keep me in the dark, I'm just going to keep doing the same bad behavior and I'm not going to know. So I like being held accountable. That's the only thing that if I have to nitpick, that's the only thing I think Darcy could have done was been more verbal with Queenie. But yeah, and Cassandra, girl, bye. Like Ashley said, it was very obvious. Like Ashley said, it was always a disdain. Don't get me wrong. Now, Queenie was a bad friend, and she was a piece of work herself. So I can understand being annoyed by Queenie in certain situations, but there was this disdain for her. So yeah, bye Cassandra, bye girl.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna come to you. I want you to tell me why Queenie ain't get fired.
Yeah, tell me.
She need to lose her job.
How many black people were at there? Was she a diversity hire?
Yeah, she was, but we all the more reason for us that we could have got another one.
Friend.
She was.
She needs a poster.
Let's see. That's the only time I gave that boss some real grace. I was like, anybody else, girl, I would have fired you
Easily.
We're sleeping in the office. She swiping on her idle time, like just not,
But she's also. They could talk down to her and put microaggressions out. She's like a pushover almost. So why would you let go of this black person that I can push around to maybe hire somebody that I can't?
Well, you told us.
I guess
that's a good point.
At the end of the day, girl, you better do your job. You get fired. I ain't like none of that. Like, it's one thing to get your little kicks with your little vanilla flavored men. But you ain't doing your job. That was sending me. Shout out to Darcy for holding it down. POP, like I was here for Darcy. You couldn't tell me nothing if she got to sit here and babysit you in the workplace and you just drinking. Or even that moment of the boss trying to tell her, well, I think she said if you got two legs in the air, you don't have
Keep one on the ground. Listen, that's what she said. You got 2 in the air. Keep one on the ground, sis. You throwing it out of every draw leg. You're doing the most. Slow down, 10 speed. That's the only respectable moment I feel like the boss had with her. I was like, she putting you up on game, sis. Like,
She can see like you're flailing a little bit, like something is going on, or even, you know, prior to the happening, if you need to take some time and maybe even tap into, you know, the therapy things that we offer, I'll give you time to do that and still pay you. Like, girl, go do that. No, I don't need any, you know, time. That's when, you know, the demons coming up. And she really did not want to be isolated and alone. And I'm sure that's, you know, a stint from her being left by her mother in that brothel, wherever the hell she left. I don't know what it was. Hostel. What was that?
Girl.
Oh, I don't know what that was. The Mary and Joseph, you know, Jesus place. Okay. With Cassandra, we playing Scrabble, with gifts, waiting for sex, and a fake gentleman persona. With Queenie, we're being treated as expected. Maybe he'll be gentle this time. Now we have the blow up happen. First of all, I felt so unsafe for Queenie with Guy constantly popping up in her home.
Yeah, me too.
And he's, you know, intoxicated and he's really aggressive in his approach. There was you know, that whole thing of you not taking no for an answer the first time I say it, like that's scary. I didn't know how far that was going to go and what he was going to do. Or even Queenie giving him the bed and her going to sleep on the couch. I was like, girl, if you don't call the police, I just couldn't. But he, you know, keeps coming to her for that. But, you know, you see the difference in the way that he is treating Cassandra versus how he is treating Queenie, even though it's whatever for Cassandra, we're giving her the runaround so we can still entertain Queenie for sex. And when, you know, it happens, you know, we're best friends and girl, but, you know, Cassandra decides to show her true colors and how she's felt about Queenie this whole time. Ashley, I'm going to come to you first. How did you feel about just the overall presence of Guy? Because we did see him quite often, and the multiple times she kept allowing him into her space. I just was hoping nothing happened to her. And just how, you know, you low-key already spoke on it, with just, you know, the flailing of the friendship. Cassandra felt like that the whole time about her.
I mean, okay, London is a huge place. It's like he listen, she didn't know that was your man, first of all. Second of all, yeah, God, he was a scary person to me. I thought he might SA her, honestly, because people like that who don't respect boundaries really make me uncomfortable and nervous. Like you said, when I say no the first time, take heed, because then I don't know what you're capable with and I might have to use force. I'm just gonna set it right there. Like, I don't like it one bit. He was like a predator in my mind. And the fact that she would still acquiesce, like, oh, maybe he'll be gentle this time. Girl, they just said your hootenanny was tore up. Like, why would you even open your mind or heart to think, okay, I'm gonna let him back in there? Yeah, he was just a despicable dirtbag. And then even with the whole confrontation, he was like, well, so like, are we still gonna eat? Like, even after Cassandra came in, busting down the door, like, I'm like, this is just so sick. He didn't like nobody or anything. He, quiet as it's kept, he ain't like Cassandra either. Yeah, I thought it was gross, but I like you. I was afraid. I didn't like that. I thought we might see that, and I'm glad we didn't. But he was pushing all those boundaries.
Monique.
I agree with you, ladies. It crossed my mind as well. I felt very uncomfortable. I was very nervous. I didn't know where they were going to go. Like Ashley said, I'm glad they didn't do it, but my mind definitely went there. Baby, there's too many fine men in London to have this dusty white boy tear up your coochie. Girl, bye. If you wanted casual sex, you could have hit up. I've been to London. I got family in London. There are a lot of good looking brothers and vanilla swirls out there. So anyway, ain't nobody tearing up my coochie. Nah, baby, you ain't tearing that nan thing up. Hell no. What else? Because I mean, Cassandra, obviously, I understood her initial shock of WTF, but knowing Queenie's integrity and character, I would have believed her. Like, first, this is the thing, Cassandra. This dude, he wasn't no dude that's like pretends like he's Prince Charming, but he's really a player. No, what you see is what you get. He is a player from the Himalayas. So I didn't understand how she was, well, he texts me one day and then he's so over me and then he doesn't talk to me for 3 Hey, well, bitch. Hello. Sorry. Hello. Ding dong.
I like those dynamics. I love that because it was just like you're just as delusional as Queenie. Neither one of you, are.
I love when Queenie read her so eloquently and said, you know what? I used to think you used to have your stuff all together. And then I realized, honey, we're not much different. I love that.
Yeah, I was here for it. EJ?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about before, is that this is somebody who she feels that she can look down upon,
Yep.
like she thinks that she's better than, and that, for a lack of a better word, that her ass don't stink. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like, like in this moment, it didn't shock me that Cassandra reacted this way. This actually was the one thing that didn't surprise me, that when I first saw who he was, I was like, oh, that's dude. When they show him at the thing, whatever the dinner thing that they're having,
looking clean and sober.
Yeah, when they show him, and I'm like, oh, dang, and then when she doesn't even take the time to assess the situation or even really pay attention to make it make sense, because first of all, you got to make it make sense, right? And I'm always going to give you got to give your friends the benefit of the doubt, and especially in this case, because you ain't never introduced them to him. It'd be totally different if you had introduced them to him,
right?
And they knew who he was. Then you would have every right to be angry, upset, and feel all the feels, right? But no, ma'am, we don't even know who he is. So do you think, you see I'm out here wilding now? You see I done told you what I'm doing. I'm constantly putting it inside of the damn group chat all the time that I'm doing X, Y, and Z, having all the SEX out here. So maybe, just maybe, this is a random, you know what I'm saying? This is the crazy guy, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, he's not even worth meeting. I'm not trying to hide him from you. I'm just saying, he's not even worth meeting. I'm trying to get rid of him. Do you think I would have just literally, if I knew he was with you, do you think I wouldn't have been out the door with you quickly?
Right.
Come on, make it make sense. Now you're insulting my intelligence even more. You're insulting my sneaky intelligence. Because if I'm a sneak, and I'm going to do it right. I'm not going to do it like this and get caught. Come on now. Do better.
It's just a hot mess. I was glad she was giving her coochie a break, honestly. I really was. Man, please.
Goodness.
I was. Okay, I'm sorry. Because at this point, I was just watching, can it get any worse? And it just kept getting worse. F you and your huge panties, fatty. This is my husband. Am I the problem? Queenie, yeah. We have, the happenings happening all in her space. She decides to, give a big ups to the big batty boy standing outside. And he just happens to be with his wife. Kay, I'm gonna come to you. How did you? First of all, the lady on the street with the microphone, Harlot, that was sending me girl, get out of Harlot behavior. Look, again, she stay out here with somebody's husband. Just read her for filth.
Don't give her that scarlet letter.
Yes, please. How did you feel about this, Kay, and kind of Queenie? Because when I think it was this is right before, and then that's the next slide, but this is right after she realizes that Ted in the workplace is actually married. And she's like, oh my God, I would have never did anything with him if I knew it was going to ruin our friendship and he was married. You knew this man was married and you still slept with him. So what are you talking about, Kay?
That's when that's when the self-reflection and the self-awareness needs to start popping in. Because if you keep getting the same problems over and over again, are you the problem? Are you? And what can we do about it? Because she's just letting these things happen, not speaking up, falling into these terrible situations like it's just, something that's just occurring spontaneously. No, you put yourself in these ridiculous predicaments. Nobody told you to do any of this foolishness.
Nobody. How did you feel? I was not here for the wife instantly coming for Queenie's side and wait and fed. I was like, girl, Queenie look good. I don't know what you're talking about, but she's the wrong. But Queenie look good. EJ.
That was the only thing that she could come with, because the thing that I was thinking, I was like, first of all, she is fine, and that's what your problem is that your husband chose this particular woman to go and have this, whatever you want to call it, fling thing with. Like, that's what your real problem is. So you're gonna hurl some insults, but the truth of the matter is that internally you're like, my husband, this is what he likes, and he's attracted to her, and you really like that about her. You like how voluptuous she is. You know what I'm saying? You like that about her. You like that she is this woman who is owning exactly who she is, comfortable in her skin. As far as her, we know that she got some other issues, but I'm talking about as far as the way she's dressed, the way that she is presenting herself to the outside world, even though we know internally she going through a whole bunch of other stuff. And I just was like, Queenie, if we really gonna let her talk like this, because first of all, I guess I'm always trying to snatch somebody. I don't know. But first of all, I'm snatching her. Like, don't come up on me like this. You better get your girl, like, you better get her real quick before she even get too close to my face. And then second of all, the megaphone lady, I'm gonna go grab that megaphone. Like, what is you doing? Like, this is too much. But
why are they fighting everybody but him?
That's what I'm about to say, Kate. Like, first of all, boo-boo, if y'all ever catch me fighting a chick over a man, y'all better call me and cuss me out, because that's the day I done lost my raggedy mind. Now, the only time I'm gonna fight a chick over a man is if you are my friend and you slept with my man, I'm whooping both of y'all asses, because y'all just, I'm whooping both of y'all. It's gonna be on site every time I see you.
But if that broad touch me, then we got a problem. Shoot, like,
the way the wife pulled up on the scene.
And her approach of everybody in this show coming for her, attacking her, whether it's mentally or physically, she's just very passive in the way that she reacts. It's just like, oh, not this again. I'm like, Queenie, if you don't raise a fist, like,
exactly,
do something.
Girl, that was sending me. It couldn't have been me, child. Because no, what you not gonna do?
It couldn't have been me either. I don't care how passionate
yeah,
you are.
Because it wouldn't have been about him. This point, it would have been nothing about him, because ain't nothing about him screaming, let's fight over him. What it would have been about is the disrespect that you coming at me with on this street, and having the nerve to come in my face instead of checking your man, who is the one that did what he did. I'm not married to you, okay? I'm not married to you, and I don't feel like I have to defend this. This you and him. Come at him. I mean, yeah, but still come at him.
I thought it was interesting how when it came to this wife, to Cassandra, and even getting into Ted's wife, it was more so kind of giving the same energy of like, I never thought that this would be your type. Like, this is what you're interested in sleeping with. Aside from me, this is what you're cheating on me with. That, like, they just, not Queenie.
That pissed me off for real.
And she still ain't speaking up for herself. Like, dang.
Still.
See, Shivery isn't dead. I laid my jacket down on the floor for you. But also hit up HR to save my marriage. Ted, the nice guy. Oh, I was already over Queenie and her, sex for quite some time. The bathroom floor just got me. Like, I'm a germaphobe. It just got me. Like, first of all, we have him try to give up that nice guy persona. I'll carry you home and give you some aspirin, and because I'm just that type of guy. Not knowing that this guy is whole married with a pregnant wife. We take this little moment of Queenie, them being in the office at the same time, and there's just all this overflow of passion, and we sleep together in the bathroom. Once it's blown up into Ted's face because the wife realizes, and then the wife goes, again, you did this again. Like, you have a pattern. I was waiting on Queen, like, you're not gonna bring this up to HR. Like, he's done this repeatedly. It's not just me. He goes and tries to get ahead of this situation and act like Queen is a full-blown stalker who's been pursuing him aggressively in the workplace, borderline sexual assault. Yeah, it was terrible. And of course she isn't believed, and she's, taking a leave from work, at which we get into that therapy. Queenie having sex on the floor, that quick pump of nothing, we can't even do that qualify as sex. When some stuff in your mind as a woman, and y'all all had those situations, like, did that even count? It really didn't count. that really did not count. I was just so disgusted at that. In any moment I felt of prosperity or some growth on, because she does have that typical New Year, new me. And then we go and we sleep with Ted for what? It just was ill. Monique, how did you feel about the whole Ted debacle?
This one really pissed me off because I was fooled by Ted. I thought Ted was a nice guy. And I was like, damn, I was wrong. I really, first of all, y'all know I used to dip and dabble in this world. I find Ted to be a very attractive man. I would love to figure out who this actor is. Because I can stalk him on Instagram. I think Ted is very attractive.
That took a turn.
Huh?
I said that took a turn. I wasn't expecting
He's very attractive. And I thought he was a nice guy, like
a nice guy, Monique, willing to hit up the girl in the work. Like them crossing, like Queenie had no respect. Like, why are you itching where you eat at? Like that was.
Listen, hold on. Let me say my thing, and then I'm gonna address that. So, I felt like him looking out for her, taking her home, didn't take advantage of her, left her the ass, but wrote her a note. I thought it was very sweet. It was a very sweet gesture. He really seemed like a good friend to her. And then things took a turn for the worse. Now, I'm not going to say I agree with you, because this is my thing. Workplace stuff happens all the time. People fall in. I'm sorry. My parents met at work, and married, and look at them. They're still married. So I'm just saying, I'm not judging. We're grown. I'm not going to judge someone because they might sleep with a coworker or fall in love with a coworker. That happens every day, B. But what I am judging is the fact that he is a con artist. I don't think anybody in the damn office knew that mother trucker was married. I think he literally is the definition of living a double life. I don't think anybody knew he was married. So when the wife popped up, pregnant wife popped up, it was like WTF. So out of all the situations that Queenie was in, this is the one that I actually had some sympathy for her, because I felt like, this is just my opinion. I just felt like, I do feel like she was duped, because I felt duped. So that's why I'm going to give her grace, because I got duped too. And then the sexual assault thing, I would have tatted that ass, because what? You really don't give a, you did this to cover your ass with your wife, who you know is not about to leave you. I'm sorry, she ain't gonna leave you. This wasn't the first time. She's pregnant, she's hormonal, she's not leaving you, boo-boo kitty. So you're gonna blow up my life and my integrity and my reputation to save your booty. Oh, I would have. That's why at the end, when the best friend about to fight him, I was with it. I was like, whoop him for me, girl. Kick him. But Ted really disappointed me. I was so disappointed.
Monique, I don't know who you saw. Maybe you was, on an attraction tip. I thought Ted was slime from the moment we met him. I thought he was slime from the moment. Like, if you present yourself as a sucker, you're going to get licked. She kept presenting herself as the easy mark and the sucker that she was. She was, regularly making herself very available in every single aspect. She wasn't properly conducting herself in the workplace. And he saw that. Like, she was an easy mark. That whole little situation of, that was a plot in itself to, oh yeah, I'm a good guy. I'll take her home. Like that was, an inch too close. I guarantee you, if it was a situation of her being more so sober, he would have took that opportunity as well. Like, she just was such an easy mark and making herself regularly available to men that she shouldn't have. And the whole drinking, I think it was an office party, the engagement party where there's a whole lot of people that you work with, just her whole image was just trash in my opinion. And I feel like he recognized that and took them out. He didn't give a damn about Queenie. He didn't care about her. Like, he was waiting for his turn. That's what I got from Ted. Okay.
It ain't even about Ted. It's about her and her lack of boundaries. If she had real boundaries, then that wouldn't have happened. If she had boundaries, she wouldn't have let that one dude at her house again where she said, I'm done with him, and he came over drunk. When you have boundaries, you're not even going to open the door. And if you keep knocking, I'm calling the police.
Yeah.
If you had boundaries in the work environment, then you would know, we just co-workers and that's it. Okay, I don't even know your personal life. You don't even know my personal life. If it ain't about this project, then what are we here for? It's messing up my money. And she already knows she was on a thin line at that job anyway. Her lack of boundaries. If she would have had better boundaries with her family, she would have known they wouldn't have kept hounding her and pressuring her and triggering her with trying to mend a relationship with her mom when she wasn't ready. It's about her and her boundaries.
I agree with everything y'all said, but I don't think she should be judged because she had a romance at the workplace. That's been happening since the beginning of time. My parents met in New York City. I don't at work. I don't get why that's a problem.
For me, it's John in his cubicle. He comes in his little tweed suit, looking good every day. Hey, we went on a date outside of work and it was great, and I'm interested. But I think there's a way to go about that and still keep it, at your job. She had dropped everything. Girl, them panties was on the floor, and so was her back.
Nah, you're right, Tara. First of all, Boo Boo Kitty, I wouldn't be smashing inside my job. That is crazy because what if you get caught? I'm gonna get fired, boo boo. No, I need my money. And then I don't care how much I want the D. I will never lay my body on no dirty ass bathroom floor. Why couldn't they just buck up against the wall? Why y'all had to lay on a nasty ground? I didn't understand that for the life of me. What the hell are we watching? That seems so disgusting. It was so
but that goes to where Queenie was at that time. Like that goes to show her like how far she has in a downward spiral. As we're watching this, we continue to see this character go further and further in this downward spiral. With each episode, she does something else that's just a little more like, whoa, a little more to the next level. And you're like, what else can she do? I think Sarah said that earlier. Like, what else can she do? And just to speak to the workplace thing, I think that when it comes to the workplace, we got to remember that HR is there for a reason. They make rules for a reason because someone broke a rule and this is why we do this. They tell you in HR, if you're dating, you need to come and tell us so that we know that you're dating, because there are certain reasons why people need to know that people are dating. Stuff like this happens. And so I feel like workplace stuff is cool when it's outside of the workplace. But if you're inside of your workplace, and I 100% agree, she absolutely should be fired. All the things that she's done at this workplace, she ain't doing her job. She on Hulu. She
worried about the wrong things.
I don't know what she's doing.
A long time ago.
Even with the Christmas situation, she's at the office because she's trying to get away from her mother. But she's even at the office. The boss called her in because she's like, there are some insane posts going up on our site. So she's like, oh, I was pocket, texting, and I was like, she just.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't want to go in on the boss, because I felt like the boss gave her a lot of grace. Most people would have been fired her. Again, the boss messed up with the whole assault thing with Ted, goofy ass, but
I couldn't blame her with how she was presenting herself in the workplace for so long. To know like, you might have been, might have had one too many and tried to push up on it. Like,
okay, I can receive that.
I just wish she had her, because Queen was in that office like, girl, you know me. Like, girl, do we though? Because you ain't doing your job. You ain't doing your job. We get into a young Sylvie, Roy abuse and abandoning Queenie. So Sylvie's real dad is in Jamaica. We ain't get nowhere into that little note. There was a whole lot of subtext in that note. I was like, always love. And, I was like, well, girl, did you leave your true love in Jamaica instead of for your husband? Like, what exactly was it? Were you cheating? Were you in a side relationship? Clearly, you were in some, like, it was just so many things going unspoken. But we get to see young Sylvie and her in a relationship with an older man at 17 who leaves her with Queenie, and once again he's married. We see these repeated things happening. He's married, and I thought he was gonna leave his wife, and he lied and all these other things, and that's just that. But once we have her, it is all about Roy. It seems like she was trying to have some semblance of the family that she felt like she could never give her, and she was willing to tolerate all the extra antics that Roy had to offer, even if it was at her expense or her daughter's expense, or even just really getting from under the family thumb and be off on my own independent. Roy is affording us to do that. So if you could just try and just listen to him, I was really just disgusted with Sylvie. I had compassion for Sylvie, but I was like, I had compassion for Sylvie up until the moment that she left her. Like, and the whole thing, it's one thing of, what happens in this house stays in this house, but that's a problem in itself. But out of fear of being judged from your family, you opted to leave your daughter in a home with food for months alone. Where in the hell would that ever be a smart decision? Kay, put some therapy on this.
In prison, because that's where you put people at in solitary confinement, because they use that as a punishment and as a torture tactic. Now, what do you think is going to happen when you use a torture tactic on a small child? And you don't think she's going to grow up and have mental illness and other
Right.
issues?
Yeah, of course.
She literally abandoned her. And then the love that she was supposed to offer her child, which is what children are looking for, the love and that warmth that she offered her child, her daughter looked at her, giving it away to a man that didn't even like her. This man didn't even like Queenie. Down talked her. So you giving the love that I'm supposed to have to a man that can't stand me. I wouldn't have nothing for her either.
Left to chase a man that couldn't stand me, to hopefully bring me back into the space of where this man couldn't stand me. Just wrong decisions on every part. EJ?
Absolutely. And to piggyback off of all of that, not only did you abandon me and leave, and like she said, giving this love to this man, and you're not even giving this love to me, and this man don't even like me, because there's not a world where I could ever be with a man who don't like my children. But the fact that you rationalized this in some sort of way and made it seem like this was for the betterment of your child, but then you denied me a safe space. You denied me a safe space by saying, no, you can't go be with your aunt. No, you can't go be with your grandmother, knowing that these would have been safe spaces for me since you couldn't provide me with one. But you wouldn't even do that. That to me just showed the lack of, I don't want to say that she didn't love her, but I want to say that she didn't love her enough. She didn't love her more than she loved Roy. Say it like that, in my opinion, to do this to her. Because I feel like even if you were going to choose Roy, you could have dropped me off at my grandmama's house and chose Roy. You know what I'm saying? Like, point blank.
No, she had all that shame trying to keep up appearances. Not even that, and trying to internalize it into me like this is my fault. Like if you would just listen to him. I was like, girl, it was just really, really terrible. Monique, are you muted, Monique? Let's see. All right.
All right, sorry, y'all. My microphone died. Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with all the ladies. I mean, it was very disgusting to watch. We've heard these stories about mothers who choose men over their daughters, which is disgusting. And then, like EJ said, which I was thinking the whole doggone time, was, Heifer, you could have dropped her off at her grandparents' house. Like, why would you put this child through so much just abuse and leave her home because what? You're ashamed? I mean, they know you with the ninja. Why not just drop her? I mean, they know that you with him. So I don't get where the shame is coming from. The shame is already there, sister. You've been with the man for X amount of years. Would it have hurt to drop the child off where she's loved and taken care of? Wouldn't you as a mom feel, wouldn't your conscience be a little bit clearer knowing that your daughter was in a safe, loving environment? Again, so I get Queenie's resentment towards her mom. I definitely understand. Do I feel sympathy for Sylvie as well? Because yes, I do. But Sylvie did wrong, and I don't blame Queenie for not wanting to talk to her raggedy A mom. Period.
I have sympathy for Sylvie just because of how everything played out. She had to know that her father was not her father and that her mother had been lying. And the whole situation of it being a man, I'm like, well, hell, was the man in Jamaica a married man? Like, it just seems like a whole generation of things.
I have sympathy too, but I don't think it excuses what she did.
Oh, absolutely not. I just feel like she was trying to have some semblance of, I don't want, because the whole narrative for her is, I don't want Sylvie to turn out, not Sylvie, I don't want Queenie to turn out like me. Right. And we slowly see that starting to happen. I'm saying we're going to still, go with that same pattern, her trying to avoid that. I feel like she had to have known that, this is my father. He loves me, but this, wasn't my real father. And she might have some little resentment there, and is just kind of trying to, in her own way, break the cycles. And she's making it worse with how she's treating her own daughter, child. Just trash.
It's just sad, like the generational curses. But like you ladies said earlier, I'm so happy that the cycle was breaking with the cousin, and just
Diana was serving. So we have a whole, breakdown after we get fired. I was here for Diane. She's like, oh, Queenie's in here. I think she needs to go to therapy. Like, don't nobody in this family need no therapy. Like Maggie was, far. She ain't fall, far from that tree of not needing therapy. Or even when we have Queenie just really venting at her session about, how she feels, still, rightfully so, early stages of therapy, in denial and really not claiming everything up until it kind of gets to a point of too much and she faints. We call grandma and she's not upset, like, oh, are you fainted? Like, how dare you go to therapy? How dare you go and vent and tell some stranger, pay to tell them, like, if you don't take this to your grave and take it on the chin, like, we all did it. We still alive. There's a whole, especially in the Black space, there's a whole, we did it and it didn't kill us. Why is it killing you? Why can't you just get over it like we did? You just carried it on your shoulders and live. Like, why do you get to be special and go to therapy and tell our business to a stranger? Like, I was really glad for the growth that we got, because I couldn't take two of the grandparents being like that. Like, somebody got to see the sun. Grandpa, right. Grandpa was there to be rational with the situation and go, maybe the way we go about things, aren't always right. Queenie needs this. She needs to get these things out. Therapy can be a good thing. In fact, I wish we talked about some things like that letter you hid in your apron at the stove. But we ain't gonna talk about that. But I was just really glad he was here along with Diana to really be breaking those cycles and recognizing what was wrong and was willing to change to fix it, because Granny and Maggie were rightfully willing to stay there. Okay?
Post-traumatic slave syndrome is real, because what would possess our elders to say we should just go ahead and take it? Oh, we dealt with it. We put up with it. It's fine. We don't have to talk about our feelings. Where does that come from? That says that we have to take abuse. We have to take sadness, depression, stress, anxiety from being on a plantation where you weren't allowed to have feelings. Like, we're not there anymore. But people were still holding so tightly because it was embedded and encoded into our DNA that you're just supposed to be that strong Black person and just take everything. Take it in stride.
Yep, I agree.
I was here for it. I was here for Queenie and all of that animosity she had, just feeling like I don't get to be vulnerable. I can't even be vulnerable with my own family without them calling me soft. Like, I got to be a strong Black woman 24/7, or I'm, presented as, either I'm soft or I'm angry, or it's just no safe space for me. I love that. And I love how she kept calling that therapist about her. Look at here, Jackie. I was like, girl, relax. EJ, how did you feel about therapy and, really getting into breaking those cycles that Granny was trying to hold on to?
Well, certainly to piggyback off of what Kay was just saying, I also think that there comes a shame to the older generational. They feel like they've done something wrong if you need to go to therapy, if you need to talk to someone else. And for some reason, people can't get outside of that feeling of self, like, what did I do wrong? And realize that it's not necessarily what you did wrong, but it's what is hurting me and what I can't do to move on with my life and to have to just have a good life, a life without all the mental stress, without all of the guilt, the shame, all of these things. And people have to take self out of it. But I think that's what's wrong with that generation, is that they are constantly feeling like if something is wrong with you, it is a direct reflection of me. And I'm typically, I can't say that I haven't said those things, or even thought that sometimes if you see a bad kid, oh, they got bad parents, things like that. I can't say that I've never thought that to myself, like, oh, your parents need to whoop your, or something like that. People always automatically blaming the parent for everything. So I get why they feel that way. So I'm not, shaming them for feeling that way. I get it. But I think that's where it all comes from. But I thought that therapy was good. I thought that, Joseph Marcel, shout out to Joseph Marcel. I love seeing Jeffrey, y'all. He gonna forever be Jeffrey. But I just love that Diana, like, that she had these people that were willing to speak up and say something and really see that she couldn't handle that. She wasn't, it's not that she's not a strong Black woman, but why does she have to be
Thank
strong in this moment? It's not necessary. What she needed in this moment was to be able to talk about it and get it out and get her feelings out and really understand why she feels what she feels, why she's going through this, and be able to overcome it so that she could be a better person in the end.
Absolutely. That talk he had with her when she got a new place on the balcony, it was everything. It was
Mhm.
everything. Like, this is you being strong. I thought, what you said, like, that was a reflection of me. Like, I failed you guys. I failed my girls, and I was internalizing something when I shouldn't have. Like, I love, way to go, Joseph. You better act. Monique.
Yes, ma'am. Baby, when she finally went to therapy, I was like, thank the Lord. Because I knew from episode 2 she needed therapy. And like, I've been very transparent on my channel. I've been in therapy for years. I worked in mental health for 3 years. And so, yeah, I'm a big mental health advocate. I'm a big advocate for therapy. I really think everybody should be in therapy, honestly. And so I was so happy to see that. And but again, you guys really have me thinking about the race thing. And my only complaint about the show is that they didn't tap into that, because even the therapist was white.
Therapist was white, child.
Oh, everybody's white. Everybody gotta be white. Like everybody white. Like everybody gotta be white. So it's like
When
now
they flipped the camera, Monique, I was like, girl, after everything we've been through,
out of
you ain't
everything,
black therapist.
got a white therapist. Damn. So I'm glad I'm speaking to you guys about it, because again, maybe because I binge watched it really, really quick, but now that we're talking about it, I'm like, you know what? My only complaint about this series is that they did not tap enough into the complex that she may have had with white people. Where did that stem from? Why did she primarily like white men? I really would have loved to tap into that more. But shout out to the therapist. She was a great therapist. She did her job very well. She was asking them questions. She had Queenie's wheels turning, and I appreciate her doing her job well.
I feel like they were trying to just chalk it up to everybody was gonna, be like my family or Roy. So this is why I'm gravitating to these white men and just, white people in general. I was like, I just don't feel like that's enough. I need something, because she was strong.
No, I need something. I agree with you. I needed something more, because damn. I'm with you on that. I didn't see it at first, but now that I'm replaying the scenes, no, there was a weird complex with white people, and they didn't address it enough. I don't know if they did address it. It was very subtle, and we did not need a subtle explanation because it was very loud.
Yeah, I was like, we have to be getting season 2. Like, they left it to where if this was and it left kind of complete but incomplete at the same time. Okay, anything on anything else on all of this on a good therapy? Because I think you said in the comments, you saying what we said, that it should have been a black therapist.
Exactly. I mean, thank God she did need the therapy. She did need that part. But Queenie, we're gonna have to take it to step 2. Okay. We're gonna have to explore this racial undertones of where we getting this from. Because if she don't fix it, she'll pass it down to a child. And have her child thinking that white is right.
Yeah. I did like that aspect of therapy in her kind of exploring the miscarriage, or just her feelings towards passing on, from Sylvie to her to my child. I think there was just symptoms in her to feel like I'm gonna, like, maybe that was why she was trying to attach herself to the whites. I don't know. Maybe she was trying to break that chain.
And I will speak from
she needed the savior, the white savior. That's what history tells us. White people came in and saved us from savagery life, and they gave us this wonderful country, and we get to have the American dream. And if your black parents treat you bad, and the white European standards are telling us that this is what is going to help you achieve the dream in life and help you to climb higher, then what is that going to portray in her life?
And can I speak? I just want to say something. I agree with all you ladies when it comes to this specific topic, but at the same time, we're also speculating, and this is why I wanted them to dive deep. If I look at my life, when I moved to Georgia from New York, it was very hard for me because here I was, this dark-skinned black girl thrown into a primarily white space. That was very hard for me as a child. I actually still have a lot of trauma from those experiences. I'm used to being the only Black girl. I was used to be, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I had moments when I was little where, yeah, I thought, well, I want my hair to be straight like the white girls. I want to be pretty like them. I went through that. Now, as far as me dating white men, I personally don't feel like it was like a complex, or I don't feel like it was a thing of, well, I think white is right. That wasn't my experience. To be frank with y'all, when I was younger, like I'm talking middle school, high school, the Black boys weren't really checking for me. They were checking for the white girls. So surprisingly, the white boys liked me. And I just thought, okay, well, you cute. You like me. Okay, well, I like it too. That's what it was. It wasn't for me. It wasn't because I thought they were better. It wasn't because I thought they were cuter. It was just as simple as the Black boys wasn't checking for Momo, and I went with who was checking for me.
Go where you're loved, Mo. You better get over there. To this day, go where you're loved. Critical Thinker is saying that Blacks in the UK, it's different, and they are reprimanded if they do not try to integrate. Oh, yeah, that's
I will
lame.
say the race, because like I said, I do have family in the UK and I have these conversations with them. It's not that race issues don't exist in the UK. It is just not as intense as it is in the US. They do, what's the word? They do interact with each other. I mean, we interact with white people all the time here in America, so it's not like that. But it's just not this thing. America, obviously, with our history, race is like a huge thing in America. Over there, it's not so much. Yeah, there's stuff that happens. Yes, there's racism, but it's just handled differently. It's just not so like intensified. I would say that.
But microaggressions are still
they're
racism.
real.
You know what
They're
I'm saying?
real.
Like it's still the same thing at the same time. I mean, I get that maybe it's kind of downplayed, but I feel like microaggressions are even worse. Like, don't play in my face like that. That just makes it like, if you gonna do it, just be straight out with it. Don't do that.
Oh no, I don't trust it. They the ones that came over here to colonize anyway, so I don't trust them over there.
Hey,
Girl, that part.
Yeah, that's where America got it from.
I know the history. I'm just telling you what the
okay, that's me. Yeah, how did you feel about where we ended up in the end? Her accepting that money from her mother, forcefully at the whole come here the birthday party. I had problems with the ending. I felt like a whole lot was rushed because we were trying to like close up a lot of loose ends out of nowhere, and I was like, it's only 8 episodes. Are we gonna get a season 2? If not, this is really rushed. But we have not only her turning 26, but we have the therapy aspect and her trying to forgive her mother, but in her own time, and she's just not ready. We have her finally be vocal about her being upset and that she can't buy her affections, but also accepting this money to get into her new space. We have her also have the opportunity to go back to work, and she's like, no, I'm going to continue to do my own thing with my social media and me covering Black stories. I do deserve more, and it's not going to be here in this workplace. And we also have her trying to tiptoe into some why do we fall in love type energy, some A. Marie, and maybe give Frank an opportunity, realizing that, you know what, he's not like Roy. Even though we stretched that a whole lot. I was like, girl, if you don't tell that girl, hurry up. She's making me mad. But we do have her finally kind of get into those feelings after, for the 70th time, Grandpa's like, where is that Frank? I like him. Can you bring him around? He's a good man. He's a good man, Savannah. Stop playing. Kay, how did you feel about all of this closing up for Queenie and what we got in that final episode?
I think it was good that she started to realize you have to get to a place in your own healing to understand that forgiveness is not allowing people to walk over you and not erasing your trauma, but it's to say, I can put up boundaries with you anyway. It's to say, I don't have to be angry. I don't have to be triggered, but it's okay to put up boundaries because of my experience, and that allowing her opening herself up for doing something different instead of living in the same toxic patterns over and over. And I think that's helping her family also start to look at, okay, we kind of do need to evolve because there's been some toxic stuff going on here.
Yeah. And she's gonna be working with the Blacks too. EJ?
That part, girl. That part I was really excited for because I felt like, okay, finally, you've been trying to pitch these stories, but you're not getting that they don't want them stories. Like they don't want this. And she's low key telling you this every single time, but you just you keep acting like you don't get it. And that was irritating me. So I was happy that she was going to finally go somewhere where she was actually wanted and where her voice was going to actually mean something and where they could see what she was seeing, like where they would respect the stories that she was pitching. Cause it wasn't like she was pitching some BS stories. She was pitching good stuff. But anyway, so I liked how she in the end said no to her old boss, how she walked away from that because don't come at me now. I felt like I would have felt like the consolation prize. You know what I'm saying? Like now you're saying, okay, but we had to go through this. No, you didn't have to go through this because what's his name probably still had his job while you were doing this investigation, but I was put out here and made to feel like I was the problem when clearly you could have looked at this videotape because that's the first thing I said. Y'all ain't got no video cameras in here. Why are we not looking at the tape? Roll the tape, please. So I was happy about that part. I was also happy that the grandfather that somebody said, "Hey, Roy, I'm not Roy. Where's Frank?" You know what I'm saying? Like, where is Frank? And so I was happy that she was giving something else a chance. And what I was really excited about was but at the same time, I wanted a different conversation. Was oh boy showing back up? Like, no, you don't get to come back now after all this time. And now you want to come back and you want to bring me these flowers. But I wanted that conversation. I wanted her to throw in his face exactly what happened. Like why I, went inside of myself, why I didn't talk to you, why, like I wanted her to just get it. I felt like it would have given, I don't know if it would have gave me closure or her closure, but it would have gave somebody's closure. Somebody needed that conversation.
I'm here for that, EJ. I wanted that too, and I was really happy for the scene that she had with Frank. It was the most like attractive, sexy, intimate scene, and there was no sex involved. I was like, yes, Queenie, come on, girl, it's real romantic. It was cute. Monique,
it was cute. Yes, baby, I loved the growth of Queenie. I loved the scene with Frank. I just warmed my heart. And then when Dusty Tom wanted to come, like you guys said earlier, I just felt like they rushed a lot of stuff in the end. I feel like we needed and deserved a conversation. I get it. The flowers in the trash can obviously showed that she turned him away, which was great. I'm happy for her, but I would have just loved to had some verbal conversation between the two of them. I love that she stood up for herself and told her boss, sorry, boo-boo kitty, not today. Ta-ta. I'm so happy. Like that is an example of you choosing yourself. And it was so refreshing to see just her evolve, you know, and just grow. And I really loved this series. It's just, again, it was an emotional roller coaster. I laughed, I cried. It was so many. It evoked a lot of emotions out of me and made me reflect on my life, other people's lives, and it was beautiful. It was just a great show.
It was a nice party. I love that the man who worked at Claire's, he was still there. Like, yeah, come on, I'm rather I work at Claire's and get this discount. Okay, last but not least, Kay, how did you feel about the way that the show wrapped up for Queenie?
I feel like although they wanted us to leave off on a good note, there were still many unanswered questions and some holes in the story. But I'm glad that she's finding self-love in her own self and not other people.
That part.
Kay said, where the rest of the show is.
I want to know.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because I was like, this is feeling like really, really incomplete. Which leads
I was waiting for the next episode to pop up, and then they tried to make me watch Handmaid's Tale.
That's it. And then that just kind of brings me to the last situation. Do any of you guys think that we will be getting a season 2 of this show?
Well, I think that it would be a disservice to not give us season 2 of the show. But it all depends on the powers that be. Sometimes they don't check for certain shows, and certain shows don't get a chance. Now, I personally haven't finished reading this book yet, but I am. That's why I started reading the book, because of kind of the way that it left. I needed to know, was there more context in the book? Like, exactly. I needed some questions answered, and I felt like this book might answer those questions for me, for those holes that Kay's talking about. And I was like, but I feel like they have to have a part, like there has to be a season 2 to this, because we still have some things. We still need to know what her progress is going to be. It is not a it's not like, oh, I cut my hand and put a band-aid on it. But you can't do that. Like, this is an ongoing process, and people are going to revert back to some old behavior sometimes. It depends on a lot of different things. I need to know the rest of this story. And damn it, I want to know about grandma. Grandma got some explaining to do. That is not going away. I need to know.
Yeah, grandma taking it to her grave, like she said. Kay, are you here for a season 2, and do you think we'll get one?
If we get one, I definitely will watch it, because just because she's trying to start this venture on her own with work, we don't know if it's going to fail or not. Okay. Yeah. We actually don't know what the conversation is that she had with Tom. That all we seen was what was the aftermath? Where are things going to go with her and Frank? Is that going to be a trigger for her trauma to come back when she may enter a relationship? We don't know. Actually, is she actually going to have a real relationship with her mom, or is she just going to have her, at arm's length?
Yeah. Same questions I had, Kay, that were not unanswered, and I would definitely be here for a season 2. Monique, are you looking forward to a season 2, and do you think we'll get one? Because these shows here, sadly, they tend to give us a one and done with these, or like, I really thought that this was going to be a limited series with how they presented it and how it was all there for the taking. I hope that it's not. I think that'll really, like you said, EJ, be a disservice to the show and everything we tried to explore, and it'll really feel unfinished. But you just never know. So we just gonna wait and I guess see what happens. I don't know. Monique's there to give her opinion. Monique. Monique went to scratch her scalp, y'all. Let me take this off. Oh man. This has been great. I feel like we covered it. Did we not cover everything? That was everything. Don't ever fix your face to say I did anything so far. I left something out. See, I told you. What you gonna do, Monique? I said, what you gonna do?
Y'all didn't hear the doorbell? My food.
Okay, we need to get off here, Monique. I was asking, were you looking forward, and did you want a season 2 of the show?
I think a season 2 would be nice. Like, I'll be okay if I don't get it. Like, I'll live without it. But if they do it, it'd be like, okay, cool, I'll watch it. So.
All right. Well, we're gonna get ready to get up out of here, you guys. Let me thank you guys and the ladies one more time for being here. We're gonna come right back, and I'm gonna let these ladies have the floor to tell you what they do on their channels and where you can find them. I'll be right back, y'all.
On the video. I know you heard me on the radio. True. But you still don't pay me no attention. Listening to what your girlfriends mention. He's a freak. Got a different girl every day of the week. It's cool, not trying to put a rush on you. I have to let you know that I got a crush on you. Hey, yo, won't you go get a bag of the week? The undressed in the balls speak through. Count your dues, thinking I'ma cheat you. The only one thing I wanna do is freak you. Stone set that I'm up with that. And I'll be doing things that you won't regret. Little Queen Bee, so you best take heed. Shall I proceed? Yes, indeed. I'ma throw shade if I can't get paid. Show you up to your girl like the only connect. You can slide on my ice like that Esther cake. And you get cheese with the marmalade. Not you, oh, who's he? I even think your man's down, but I know your proof now.
In your ear and get you all shit
I was jamming.
Just keep it
on the hush.
Thank y'all so much for supporting us today here in this chat. Now, I am going to most definitely come to my girl, Kay, first. Kay has a whole lot going on. Before I even get to Kay, be over here tomorrow. We will be going live to discuss Interview with the Vampire. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. A whole lot occurred in episode 5. Y'all want to be here for me to get into Armand strolling in them shades, okay? Be here for that. Be here for that. But Kay, I'm going to give you the floor to let the people know what you do over there on your Horror and Hooch podcast and where they can find you. Go ahead, Kay.
Yes. Please subscribe to The Fifth Wall, Calling All Nerds. If you like horror, if you like comic books, come on over. We're talking Interview with the Vampire, Evil, X-Men 97, Godzilla -1. We're going to be talking about House of Dragon and The Boys coming up real soon. So if you are a blurred, a nerd, a geek like me, I need you to come on over, hit that subscribe button, follow us, because we got the content you're looking for right here. All the horror, the comic book stuff, and the drinks.
Yes. What you looking for? I got what you looking for. This is what the Fifth Wall looks like. This is what the channel is. Y'all go over there and support my girl Kay. Kay be working hard and getting that content out. Go over there and support her on all her platforms. The podcast, the TikToks, YouTube,
All the good
Instagram.
things.
All the good things. All those good things. Thank you so much, Kay. Go on over to get y'all some horror and hooch. Kay be watching all the horror, y'all. I don't know when she
All of it.
Monique Nicole, I am going to come to you next to let the people know what you do on your channel and where they need to come and support you at. Go ahead, Monique.
Absolutely. Hello, darlings. So, if you're new to me, my name is Monique Nicole, and I do a plethora of things. I do a lot of reality TV stuff. I also do a lot of pop culture things, and I love TV shows. So, of course, I do the Power Universe, I do the BMF. But there's different sides to Momo. So, I'm also going to be covering House of Dragons, honey. So, y'all need to come on in, subscribe, check me out. Again, I'm on the road to 1,000 subs. So, please, if you like the vibe, support me. Show me some love. We're trying to grow. Okay. Say it with me. Growth. Thank you.
I had to say it with you, even though I was back here. Growth.
I know, me too.
You know where I got that from, right? Y'all know where I got that from. I hope y'all know. Insecure.
Once again, you guys, this is what Monique's Nicole's. This is what her channel looks like. Everybody be checking for their links in the description box down below. But you guys get over there and support her. She says she get into, the good old House of Dragon. You ain't gonna get into that over here on the struggle. Y'all better go over there and get you some, because I ain't doing that.
We're going to do House of Dragon too. Let me know.
Go over there. Collaborations. Yes, first with each other. Love it. Y'all go over there and support Monique and get her too. We real cute and close to 1,000 subs, y'all. That 1,000 subs hurdle is it's a beast. Go support her and get her to 1,000 subs. K2, get on over there. And last but not least, I love Monique. Like, so yeah, hair flip. Get over there and support me. I'm growing. Last but not least, I'm going to come to my girl EJ so she can tell y'all what she got coming up and where y'all can go over to support her. Go ahead, EJ.
Hello. What's up, everybody? First and foremost, thanks, Tyra. So glad to be back on your channel again. And so nice to meet you. Miss K? I was about to call you Miss K. So nice to meet you, Kay. I think this is my first time meeting you. So anyway, on my channel, I do a variety of things. So of course, all the powers, the shies. I do a lot of lives with the ladies. We do movie night. We actually have a live coming up tonight in about 15-20 minutes. We're about to talk about the shy, but I do actually do a variety of stuff on TikTok. I have a variety of stuff going on over there as well. I do some old school stuff with Run That Back, which is like just for television shows. It's like old school TV shows. That's like my new segment that I've been doing. So I'm excited about that one. Everybody seems to like that one. And then we got movie night that's coming up on on Thursday. And we're going to do Bad Boys in honor of the new Bad Boys that just came out. We're going to do the old Bad Boys to do that. And then if you like the family business, because I know a lot of people have been looking at the family business since it dropped on Netflix, that's like my day one, number one show that most of my subscribers came through for. So that's coming back out. So definitely make sure that you come holler at me. I'll be doing that. And then, if anybody else wants to collab on anything, I'm always here for the collaborations. I look at a lot of stuff. So just hit me up.
Absolutely. You guys, this is what EJ's channels look like. EJ is like this close to 10,000 subscribers. Go over there and be cute and tell a friend and tell another friend to go with you. Go over there and support her. Like, I'm tired of y'all playing. Y'all already know how I am. Don't be playing. Don't be playing. For myself, you guys, we are really, really close to 26K. Gone over there. I need 200 of y'all. Wait, I think it's still 200, maybe less. I need 200 of y'all to go on over there to tell a friend, and come over and get your girl to 26K. We're trying to get to 30K before this year is out. Like, please, just, oh, man. But we can go dwell on that. Y'all already know with the channel, I'm going to be where I'm at. I'm going to post when I can post and when YouTube allows me to dip my toe out there in the pond. Be on the lookout for a Ray video. Be on the lookout for a Strictly Business video, and also Book of Eli. Be on the lookout for me discussing The Boys, and also Interview with the Vampire. That's coming up tomorrow. The link is already there somewhere. Go put the notifications on. Be cute. Keep on subscribing, because I know I didn't subscribe to Monique Nicole's channel for the third time today, and I keep getting unsubscribed.
I don't know, because I feel like you've been subscribed months ago.
Yeah. I was like, again, like that happens. It happens. Child, don't get me started. That's another story.
I have a story.
But you guys have been amazing. Once again, you know, we love those comments in the chat. We love those super chats in the comments. But the comments that matter the most are the ones that we leave below when we finish this video, and you drop down and let us know what you thought about the show, what you thought about our opinions, and also hit the like button and going over there and hitting the like button too, because we streaming. But anything else, ladies, before we get on up out of here?
Just thank you again, Tara, for thinking of me, reaching out to me. I really do appreciate it. You don't have to extend yourself, but you do, and that means a lot to me. And thank you for turning me on to the damn show. I needed to see this show. It did something to me. Again, even though I couldn't always relate to Queenie, I could understand her. You know what I'm saying? So it was a great series, and baby, keep sending me more content, please. Content.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me. I can't wait to talk about Interview with a Vampire, because girl, be right there in that chat, right there, because it was a lot going on. I'm so excited about
this episode. I know for the next episode, EJ, I want you to come through and join us for the live for episode 6. If you're free, to talk about it.
No, I will be there. I love this show.
Me too.
Thank you for hosting. Queenie stressed me out.
I try to do what I could do, but you guys have been amazing. The audience has been amazing. We will definitely see you guys next time. And Kay and I will see y'all tomorrow. Good night, y'all.
Come back.
Please, all of you. Bye, y'all.